And hello, everybody. It is time for Creature Corner, the hotfix show about non-human protagonists or player characters. And tonight we're honoring some animal protagonists that might not be as furry as the ones that you might think off the top of your head. Sorry, Ratchet. We're going for Sly tonight with Bentley, of course. That's going to be our next run-up, Sly 3 by Shadow Z. We're going to do episode 3 as well, all the 3s. But also later in the night, we're going to be doing some Skator Gator 3D by Osmorn, who has just recently started another hotfix show, so we're going to be talking to him about that, as well as skating along as a gator. We're going to be doing some Spyro Reignited Trilogy, of course the first game, Spyro the Dragon, and that's going to be by Chimey, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about the Furs appearance, the Fall Fest appearance that they're going to be doing with this game later on next month as well. And then finally, we're going to cap it off with Sea Frog Kraken Percent by Swimfly. You might have seen this run at SGDQ, and it is back and better than ever, so you're definitely going to enjoy it. All of these are creatures that have slime, that have scales, that do not have fur anywhere to be seen. So get excited for the reptiles, amphibians, and dragons night. Let's start us off with Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves, episode 3. There's too many threes by Shadow Z. Take it away.
Yeah, well, first of all, great intro. Thank you very much. Honor. I see what you did there. Very nice of you. But yeah, thank you very much to everybody at the hotfix/team for inviting me onto the run. Tonight we're playing a game that's pretty dear to my childhood experience and dear to a lot of people. This is Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. More specifically, this is episode 3. A bit of a unique episode as far as the run goes. Casually, this is definitely, I would say, a fan favorite. A lot of people really like this episode. The speed run, as we're going to see tonight, there's a lot of really cool things about it, and there are a lot of, well, sort of in between things about it. But hopefully, in any case, hopefully we have some fun. Hopefully I don't mess up every major trick in the book, and hopefully it's just a great night. But yeah, once again, thank you to the hotfix group for having me on, and I am good to go whenever.
All right, sounds great. Would you like a countdown?
Yeah, sounds fine.
All right, fantastic.
Oh, wait, actually, I'm...
Go ahead and start.
And just got a local...
Yes, go ahead.
Am I able to local record this one, or should I not work?
Feel free to press local recording if you'd like to. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and get on started. Yes, we're going to take just a second to get back on that Sly run with y'all, but as we wait for that, we've got all sorts of cool things to talk about. Speaking of the time that it is, which is almost October, but not quite, September is here right now, and that means discounts of 25% or more on 1, 3, and 6 month subscriptions during September. So, if you're enjoying the stream, consider taking advantage of this discount and subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and access to chat during replays. You can also always support the stream by sharing the Games Done Quick channel with your friends. We appreciate your support so much. It is only September for another week or so, so if you'd like to take advantage of that and make sure that you are not seeing those ads and using some really cool GDQ emotes, now is a very good time for that. And speaking of a very good time, you should definitely do that ahead of the 4th annual Latin American Heritage Month celebration, which is coming on September 27th and 28th, so that's this weekend, with showcases and speedruns featuring Latin American and Hispanic runners, presented by Latins and Hispanics in speedrunning. Type !LHS in chat to join the community, or !LATAM for the full schedule. There are so many good games on that schedule, y'all, I promise. You want to just go look at that and then go ahead and sit down for the whole weekend to watch all of them. So many incredible friends of the stream, so many people who are doing their first ever runs, by the way, on that marathon for GDQ. So, you know, we've got the mix of the veterans and the newcomers, and that's what I love about Games Done Quick, being able to represent everyone. So definitely go ahead and check that out. And of course, if y'all have been keeping up with the GDQ socials, I know you're enjoying the announcements. We're just gonna keep rolling. If you've been keeping up with GDQ socials, you have seen that AGDQ runs and volunteer submissions have just opened. AGDQ 2026 will be live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from January 4th to the 10th. If you would like to help out by volunteering for the event, you can submit your application by October 5th. And if you'd like to attend, registration is also open, so be sure to register if you want to experience the event in person. You can even upgrade to a foil badge by November 1st. Visit gdq.gg/ for more information. And I know, that was a lot to hear about. GDQ is doing a lot of stuff, as always. Amazing stuff going on at Games Done Quick. AGDQ coming up, LATAM coming up. And speaking of things coming up at GDQ that are amazing, we are back with Sly 3. Go ahead and take it away, Shadzy.
All right, sorry about that. I forgot to set a local recording path on Streamlabs OBS. Well, no, the GDQ OBS. Streamlabs OBS is terrible. Don't use it. But anyways, I am now good to go whenever.
All right, sounds good. With the OBS Demons exercise, let's start the run in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Yeah, so already right off the bat, we see something very unique to episode 3. One thing that we really can't use a whole lot, but normally in Sly 3, you have a couple of disguises. And this one right here, the pilot costume, is one that we can't normally transform into. This is one that's exclusive to Holland, and we only get to use it. In fact, I believe this is the only job where we really get to move around as Sly in the pilot costume. That's cool. Bentley and Murray also get their own little pilot costume rendition. Cool, because they normally don't do that. But more importantly, there's going to be a lot of cutscenes in this job, so I'm going to be talking in a bit of explanation. One thing you may immediately notice is the game language. Normally for episode 3, the fastest language is Norwegian. The fastest language for a multitude of Sly 3 episodes are either Norwegian or Dutch. I'm playing in Dutch. Dutch is not the fastest language for this episode. It loses 12 seconds. The reason why I'm playing in Dutch is because there's a character named Mugshot. He's this big, dog-looking guy. And when you hear his voice, trust me, you'll thank me later. It is a very entertaining part of the dub. So just I figured it was in line with having fun and just kind of lay back, enjoy it. So that's why we're playing in Dutch.
We blijven aardig tot morgen en dan
That's
schieten we elkaar.
I love the choice just to show everybody the most fun version of the game. I think that's awesome.
Ik wist niet dat je kon vliegen.
Yeah, no, it's a big joke in the Sly community that everybody loves it when we play this episode in Dutch. It's kind of sad that Norwegian is the fastest language. In some of the tournament matches over on Sly Golds, we had this big tournament, and some people were actually running free in Dutch anyways, just because it was fun. Yeah, so
to heck with the couple of seconds that we lose. It's hard.
12 seconds for a marathon setting. I figure, what the heck, let's just do it. Yeah, but
that's gonna break our schedule.
Yeah, nothing really. So one other thing you're gonna notice here that I'm sort of popping in and out of are dialogue trees. These are a new feature in Sly 3 that are really only a couple of places. Basically, press a button to activate a certain dialogue option, but there's only one correct path of dialogue options to get to the end, and they're always the same every time. So if you see the camera kind of shift, pause for a minute, most likely I'm just mashing the dialogue tree. So, all that is.
Een gunst?
There's actually a handful of really funny dialogue options in English as well, which you would know if you've ever played this game. Especially when we get to Mugshot later on. Played the game in English, you would know there were some pretty options there.
Oké, Dimitri, geef me het vluchtschema.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is kind of the beginning. This episode is kind of monotonous, especially if you're running by yourself, because you really just have to jump over to the movie after this long cutscene, pretty much stuck here until we get outside. When we do get outside, though, it gets a lot more exciting because we immediately have to go up to the castle, and I can show off some really cool movement tech. So, real quick, what I'm going to talk about is recent full game ending % for Sly 3. We recently developed a new route for power-ups. Power-ups are, additional gadgets by that really just expand a character's moveset. And we recently added to the route a new buddy glitch that gets this power-up called Rocket Boots far earlier than intended. Well, far earlier than we used to be able to get them anyways, and also... There's Mugshot for you. That's the reason why I played in Dutch. But yeah, we'll hear more of him later. Don't worry, that will not be in the clip. Rocket boots are not only useful because by themselves they make you go really fast, but by chaining them together with a couple of other power-ups called Paraglider and Push Boost, or I'm sorry, Push Hack, we can actually perform a really cool little bit of movement tech called the push boost. It's exclusive to Sly 3 and it's really cool. Basically, you just like push boost, paraglide, and activate rocket at the same time, and you can then Sly absolutely flying across the map. So it's a little, the timing on it's a little bit tight, but it's a really cool bit of movement tech. So I figured I'd explain it right now before we get into the thick of the run, and then when you see me flying around outside, you guys, you'll hopefully have some idea of what's going on. Yeah, we're almost at the end of this cutscene here. Baron's just going to walk down the stairs, and then unfortunately, walking in the pilot costume is really slow. We can't really run in this, so we kind of just have to jump around, like, going back to the door. You should be done.
I guess while we're hanging out here in cutscene land, what drew you to running Sly 3?
So I kind of knew I wanted to run a lot of these games in general when I started speedrunning, just because getting around to these is going to be cool. I love this series in general. I've played it a lot since I was a kid, or rather I used to play it a lot when I was a kid. But Sly 3 is also just a game that not as many people run, and so I feel like having more runners that give it its fair due was really warranted. But now that we're here outside, real quick, I'm going to try and show this off. So right here, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to see me doing this with push boosting, and then just this right here, this is rocket boots. This is what it would look like if I wasn't just push boosting. But I can do that, which is a push boost. That's really cool. Let me fit one more in here. Pretty cool. And now, right over here, I'm going to do this. You're normally supposed to climb around that entire castle and do a large obstacle course, but by doing a set of tricky jumps, we can just immediately get to where we need to be.
Wow, nice.
Nee, sorry.
Yeah.
Who needs it?
Hulpjes van de baron.
Yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, so just like that, that's the end of Sly for this job. We're going to have like one other short little sentence here, and then we're actually going to take control of Bentley. We're going to be able to use some of his power-ups to get directly to the top of the rooftop here, and then just grab some blueprints. We'll be out of this job, and then we'll be into the meat of day one, which has some very cool parts and one very not cool part, but we'll get there.
Geen dank. Ik zie je in de schuilplaats.
First of all, so you're going to immediately see me kind of run up there. You're meant to use that catapult to get up here, but we have this power-up called Hover Pack, which we're allowed to have pre-bought before the episode even starts. I kind of got caught up there. But that just gives Bentley 3 additional jumps. It's really cool. And then right there, the little booster, that's Adrenaline Burst. By expelling a little bit of our gadget juice, we can just send Bentley flying at really crazy speeds. So expect to see that a little bit when we get to playing as Bentley a little bit more. And here we just got some like paintings, but once again, we just have to input some codes. You're normally supposed to search for them, but they are in fact the same every time. So being the speedrunner, I thankfully remember the codes. And same one right here. This one will actually have the blueprint. You have to open that first one no matter what.
Even if you already know the code for this one, the game's just like, you still got to do it in order.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, so that's the first job. Yeah, it's kind of sucks you still have to do them in order, but that's the way it is. Now, immediately here, you're just going to see me reset the game. There are normally these long chalk talks, they're called. Basically, Bentley will take you through this long slideshow, and if middle school has taught me anything, it's that long slideshows are really not my thing. So by resetting the game, we can skip those and just get back way faster than we could otherwise. If you're playing on English, if you're playing on the NTSC version and have your language, your console language set to a certain feature, you can actually skip that little health and safety warning there, so you can save a few seconds if you're playing on the NTSC version. Cool little thing. But yeah, so then that's Bentley and that's Sly. And now immediately coming out of the safe house here, we are going to go to the start of day one. The missions we have in Sly 3 and Sly 2 for that matter are all broken up into days. And we're going to have a lot of mission markers around that we just have to go to. And we're going to start by immediately playing as Murray. You're going to see me do a few things here. For one, we have this and following with that. So the little like jump in the air you saw me do, that was part of a move that Murray has called the Aboriginal Ball. You'll see me use it later in this job. It's mainly used to like roll around and bounce, but you can also go into the ball form and then immediately go out of it in midair to extend a jump. So it's useful for that. And then the other one you saw me use there, that's Berserker Charge. That's one of Murray's power-ups. Once again, it expels Gadget Juice, but it just launches him forward at a little bit faster of a speed than it would if you were just running or rolling around in the ball form, which, funnily enough, rolling around in the ball form on the ground is actually faster than running as well. So Murray basically is just never using his legs anyways.
Murray looked at Sonic the Hedgehog and was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Played Sonic 3 and was like, yes, I can do this. Funny because like we were just having y'all on the stream couldn't hear this, but we were just having a big conversation about Sonic games before the stream started. We were talking about how crazy the Archie comics were.
What, me liking Sonic?
What?
Fans of the show would never think that I would like Sonic or have any Sonic games on.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, so right here now, unfortunately, this is also kind of another slow part. We will get to play as Sly in just a little bit, but this right here is just the sewer section. There are a couple of sections like this where Murray has to row a boat. There is one later on in Chapter 5 where you're doing the same thing, only instead of it being the slow rowboat, you get to row what's called the Jolly Boat of Destruction, and the thing goes like 3 times the speed of this. You're basically just running around and launching cannonballs at people in a job called Jolly Boat of Destruction. It's a really cool job. This, unfortunately, you know, we just kind of have to slowly maneuver around this bit and like avoid these traps. That's fine. That shouldn't be a big deal. I might not be able to damage boost a little bit later in the job now, but that's okay. I can still take 1 mine, and dying here, if I'm careful, really shouldn't be a big issue.
I think if I ever own a boat, now I know what I must call it. Because the Jolly Boat of Destruction is just such a good name.
It is a really good name, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to row something like that.
Yeah. Wish they, kind of wish we had a name for the biplane that we're going to be seeing later. Like imagine, like, I don't even know what you would call it, like a terrible tornado or something crazy like that.
Ooh. Yeah. The evil version of Tails' plan.
Just to push boost there. You can push boost through a lot of this in these little sections right here. However, it can be a little bit finicky because these platforms rock back and forth. So for the sake of moving
that
things
looked
along,
very precise.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tacky. So no worries there if you don't want to go for that, just for the sake of moving things along. I will, however, give me just a minute here, and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing here on the way back. But I want to see if I can, in fact, get this.
Dus ze hebben vast een paar alarmsystemen ingeschakeld.
Hey, Lars. Heb jij de sleutels van de kamer?
Ja, wacht even. Niet hier. Heb jij ze niet? Mooi werk. Ga terug naar Murray. En het vlot.
Nee, jij bent de verantwoordelijke hier.
Wait.
Laten we gewoon op de deur slaan.
Nee, iedereen slaapt al naar binnen. En ik ga ze niet wakker maken.
Come on.
Als we dat doen, schieten ze ons morgen uit de lucht.
Ah, I messed it up. Okay. So what I'm trying to do there is a super jump. By doing a certain series of like cane swings right before you hit the ground, you can actually make it so Fly's grounded position doesn't get set. And so if you do it correctly, you can actually warp straight back to the vent. But I kind of messed it up. I dropped the super jump a little bit towards the end, but that's all right. Anyways,
We just got to see more of the game.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just go back to it. Like you can kind of see how you're intended to do that. And if you do like sprint in a lot of places there, you will get caught and fail the job. So that could have been worse. I could have definitely just ran and alerted those guys. So that's all right.
Yeah, good backup. That's the important thing with live marathons, is knowing how to, recover well when things don't go the optimal way.
Yeah, historically, that's one thing I haven't been so great with, is knowing my backups. There's a very notorious
I wouldn't know it.
moment.
You did a great job there.
Well, I don't really know if I'd call it like a super cool backup. Just kind of like, hey, this is the casual thing. You just gotta make do with what you have. But yeah, I mean, like I said, could have failed. So I'll take it. I will take the compliment. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so going to the second section here, your health actually does refill. So I can, in fact, damage boost one of these mines. Not this one, but there's this cycle of mines I can kind of just move a little bit faster. And instead of waiting for this, I can just tank this one without much of a worry. Or, okay, well, I guess we'll tank it now. My movement there was kind of awkward, but we'll do that. And now I will die with one more hit, so I just have to make sure that I don't ram into any of these like a moron. But hopefully we should be okay. There's just a couple of these little currents that can push you around, but there's not. All right, well, maybe I should keep my mouth shut until we get out of the sewer before I say anything about dying. But,
You got this.
Yeah, this really isn't that bad. Like, I hope. Yeah, like, there we go. Out.
Just like that.
Right.
Survive the sewers yet again.
All right, yeah, and that's the slow part of the job done. So now that we've stolen the Viking helmet, we're going to try and use it to frame Team Belgium, or I'm sorry, frame Team Iceland, because we're trying to pit two of these like teams against each other for the end of day one. That's the storyline here. And now we have to go over to the hangar as Murray, and we have to go plant it on one of their planes. So we're going to see a little bit more of Murray action here. There are a few different pathways you can take. Like, you're normally intended to probably drop this bridge here on the left, but we're going to show off some more movement tech. We're going to get to see some more Berserker Charge. Once again, it's this fancy little thing. And immediately here, I'm going to take the advantage of doing this. This right here, that's the Aboriginal ball. This is normally how you move around in any percent when you don't have Berserker Charge, because we don't get it during the any percent route. But Berserker Charge here definitely is like a tiny bit faster, so you're going to see me using it a fair bit. Probably not the most optimal usage of it there, but you can see it definitely jolts you ahead a little bit faster than it would just if you were running. And now right here, you will see we have found ourselves in the most like paranoid hangar defense ever. I don't know how these guys even unrigged this plane with the lasers in here, but now we just have to use the Aboriginal ball to roll around, knock this plane down, and then we'll be able to plant it and get right out of here. Yeah, these little things on the floor can push you up into the lasers, so if I'm fast here, I can actually make really good cycles here, so we'll see if I'm able to do this.
Got this.
We're caught up there. Nice. All right. That was a little scary, but made it. All good. And here, I'm just going to run.
Down. That's all we care about.
All right. Yeah. All good. That's frame Team Iceland. Yeah, that job can be really difficult, especially with the super jump part towards the start. So that's fine for a marathon setting. I feel like that's pretty cool. All right. Now, unfortunately, remember how I said there were some dreary parts of episode 3 and some really cool parts? Now we are quickly coming up to one of the not so cool parts. So this is a job that many people who run this game will know by one acronym. We call it SCH, aka Cooper Hangar Defense. And this job is just like almost 10 minutes of absolutely nothing. Like, there are a few, not 10 minutes, but like there are a few things we can do to speed it up, but it's a lot of just cutscenes and sections where you can't really do a whole lot to move things along. So the very first part we're going to see here is, well, I guess I won't spoil the surprise for the first part, and I'll kind of talk about each part individually because they all have their own unique little gimmick, and the third part especially I don't think we'll be seeing again in this episode. But for the first part...
Jij primitivo, jij dacht toch niet dat ik Mesa City vergeten was, hè? Maar als ik jullie vliegtuig...
Oh, sorry, I just love this dub. I rarely get to hear Dutch mugshot, but yeah, hopefully you guys are starting to see why I wanted to play in this dub.
Chad has been loving this whole run and the dub as well, so I think everybody can see why.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're enjoying it. But yeah, so this is the first main part of this job. This job has 3 main sections. This is the first one where we have this sort of mini boss against Mugshot. You can't damage him directly, as you can see here. You can punch him all you want. He won't move. The way that you have to move this fight along is you have to just press this button to get that giant switch to damage Mugshot. It takes 15 seconds to recharge, I believe. And yeah, like, this is really all you can do. If we were in full game, you could like farm coins off these guards around like all these boxes that are in the hub world. Like, normally we'd take like these gas tanks and just destroy all the boxes with them. But here we kind of just have to, you know, like, make do with what we have. I've been playing this really unoptimally because I've been like, trying to talk with the game. Normally, if you're in any percent, you just kind of do this. Or in an episode run, sorry, you just do this. Like, you can just double jump on top of this switch and wait for it to recharge, and these guards basically can't do anything to you. They can throw those little rocks, which will do chip damage, but they do like so little of your health that it's really not a big deal. And not to mention Murray is just like an absolute tank, so he can take so much damage anyways that, like, yeah, you see, like, they're throwing stones at me and they're doing like virtually no damage. So in an episode run, that's a pretty nonchalant section.
Je bent niet onschendbaar. Dit is nog maar het begin van een erg slechte
How many
dag.
fingers does this guy have?
Well, I mean, comparably, he's probably got like 7 or 8. He's got like some thick fingers.
That's that's a lot.
Imagine what you could do with like 18 fingers. Oh,
I was gonna say, I feel like that could be advantageous for speedrunning. You could hit so
for
many
speed,
buttons at once.
dude, like there are some. I'm trying to think of like what game would even benefit the most from that, with all the tricks you have to do. That's a great question.
Answer this question in the Twitch chat. You can think of a game where having more fingers is more better.
Yeah, that's a good debate to have. But yeah, so now, hopefully, well, how was I'm gonna make some other joke here, but basically now we've come to a point of we're playing Five Nights at Flies. That guy's on fire. I don't know why he's on fire. He's on fire again. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I think the game like
Doesn't happen every time.
no, it doesn't happen every time. Yeah, that certainly doesn't. I would hope somebody doesn't just come out to their daily job and just like, oh hey, by the way, I'm on fire. That would seem like very unfortunate.
That's what you're paid for, I guess.
But yeah, like this is
This sounds like a good
the
job.
second main part of this job. It's very unique to this job. We don't really ever do anything like this again in the game. Basically, guards are just going to spawn almost infinitely, and we have to fill them with all these traps. There really isn't a whole lot we can do to speed this up apart from the very, very end, where if you kill the guards with certain traps, like if I were to kill this guy with a triangle trap and he was like the very last one, that would speed it up because that could like kill him faster than just waiting for him to get to the end. Another thing worth noting is that like guards falling in the water, that drowning animation takes longer for them to be counted as dead, as opposed to like burning a guy alive like that dies faster. So there's little things like that you can do, but yeah, other than that, I mean, like I really don't have a whole lot else to add to this section. Guards can get through and damage the plane, but you need to have like 7 or 8 of them, I think, get through in any danger of failing this job, which really just isn't that big of a deal. So, Dayton, at this point, if you have any sort of questions about the game, or if like you've seen any good questions in the chat, now would probably be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I just want to say I love that this game has basically a balloons section, except for that you're pressing PlayStation buttons. I think that's kind of awesome. And I love the macabre way that everybody has to die, and just explaining nonchalantly, yeah, if they burn, that's faster than them drowning in the water, you know, so we're going to prioritize that.
I've thought very in depth
great.
about this. I assure you that's not concerning at all.
Yeah. But I guess I wanted to ask, I know this game has a lot of episodes. Which episodes do you think are your favorite for speedrunning, and why?
Ooh, so for speedrunning, that's actually an interesting question. In Sly 3, I would definitely have to say probably episode 6 and episode 2. Episode 2, as a casual episode, is very unpopular. It has one really boring job in the claw. But when you look at episode 2 in of itself, it's really one of the only episodes in the game to have a lot of like core character platforming. Like Murray has this really cool job called spelunking, where you actually get to really utilize his aboriginal ball ability and jump through these basically like natural training courses. I think it's a really cool job. And then even outside of that, like episode 6, the reason why I love episode 6, it's one of the shortest episodes in the game, and by that point you have all of Sly's really cool movement tech. You have like every power up available to you in the game. And if you want to as well, you can also utilize something called the continue episode glitch, which gives you sort of an easy mode on 2 bosses, making them really faster, and skips out like 6 minutes of cutscene. So episode 6 and episode 2, I would definitely say.
Nice, that's really cool. Yeah, we picked episode 3 today, both because it's a really cool episode of speedrun, but also because it features a lot of the non-Sly characters that are in the bunch. They're a little bit less of a furry friend and more of a scaly friend. But I think this game is super cool, and that chat should check out more of it if they would like to.
Yeah, no, I think Sly 3 is a pretty underrated speedrun. Some people hark on it for just being like the movie, the speedrun, but when you actually look at the core tech of Sly 3 and a lot of the cutscenes, I feel like it is a very cool speedrun in its own way. Speaking of which, another big part of that is the variety, as I'm sure some of you are picking up by this point. So this is Penelope. This is the only real section we're going to get to see her in. She's like the gang member that we add to, so to speak, in this episode. And her main thing is that she has all these different contraptions she likes to use. She has a car as well, but we won't get to see that in this episode. So in the meantime, we're just stuck with using her chopper, which the main goal of this section is to defeat all of the enemies and defend the Cooper hangar. The only real thing worth noting here is that those tanks, starting after you destroy that tank, the only way that this part of the mission actually progresses is if you destroy the tanks. So after we destroy 5 tanks, guards will stop spawning infinitely, and then from there you can just try and kill those guys as fast as possible. So I'm actually going to wait here in the center for a red arrow to show up. I'm not going to bother chasing that guy down. Like, these guys will damage the hangar a little bit, but it's kind of like the inside guards where you have to leave them alone for so unbelievably long for them to do any damage. Like, that guy just got off 2 shots and see how much damage. The guards really aren't that much of a threat as long as you're careful. We're at 1 tank. Dude,
This looks a little bit difficult to control. Is it about as difficult to control as it looks?
it's not as bad as you think. It has like a... When you're whipping around with the cable, it can definitely look like it's a bit janky, but it's pretty consistent. Like, the only thing worth noting is that, like, I'm not touching the stick right now. The chopper will just move by itself. But other than that, like, it's really not that bad. Honestly, the car, people would argue, is way worse, just because the car's physics make it flip over so stupidly often that the thing can just be an absolute pain to control, especially later in like chapter 4 when we have to hit for one major skip. If you don't have a good setup for it, it can just seem like an absolute pain, which is really annoying. I'm actually going to leave that guy alive, because if I leave him alive, then we can end the mission faster, since the pig will only take 1 gank kill. This is the last tank. This is tank number 5. And now that I've left these 2 pigs alive, we can actually end this slightly faster. We can just gank these guys. There's a ram over there. He spawned in, so this won't. Fortunately, gonna have to take him out, but okay. Alright, there we go. Okay, oof, he took very long to die. I was worried we were gonna like soft walk there or something. That would not have been good, but all good. Job's gonna end. So, could have been a little more optimal there, but yeah, Cooper hangar defense, unfortunately, just not the most interesting job in this game. Thankfully, though, we immediately get to follow it up with one that I'd like to think is a little bit more interesting. For starters, we actually get to move to a job real quick as Sly. So we get to see a little bit more push boosting on the way to the job here.
It's always fun to see the movement.
Yeah, cool. Kind of messed up landing on the bounce pad there, but push boosts, yeah. Push boosting is just so fun. It's another reason why I love running some of the later episodes of Sly 3 is just because once you get decently consistent with it, it feels so good to pull off. It's really cool movement tech. But yeah, so now we are on to Frame Team Belgium. So we just defended the hangar and we Frame Team Iceland. Now we have to go break into this giant truck that's running around, and we have to go plant one of Team Belgium's prized handkerchiefs that we're going to have to go steal from a guy inside of the hotel right now. So we're going to have one more dialogue tree. It's going to be a little bit slower, but then we're just going to jump outside and we're going to have some pretty cool parts with the Guru, who's a new character that we're going to be seeing a few times in this episode. And then we're going to have to just chase down the truck with Sly and get into probably the biggest gimmick of the episode. So, cool stuff to look forward to in this job. But yeah, so like, Murray can actually get stuck on that truck. It's on a really bad cycle. But yeah, so immediately we're going to have to run to this guy's Murray. But Murray actually has the best costume in the game. Because for one, he can actually move like faster than molasses while he's in the costume. Like that's essentially his normal running speed. We can actually just run to this guy at a decent pace. We don't have to jump all over the place like a maniac. Really don't know why Sly and Bentley don't take notes. It's really not that impolite, guys.
Die Baron die zegt altijd, ik hou van vliegen, niet naar buiten gaan. Mijn snor is zo.
Yeah, so another cool thing as well is just like something I feel like I've really overlooked for a lot of this game is just like, look at all the character models, the unique character models that are inside this hotel room.
I was just about to talk about the characters, yeah, and how fun they are. And cool they look, exactly.
It's a cool like little to the atmosphere. It's just a shame you never really get to do anything with them. Like, you can interact with them with all the characters you come in here with, but to my knowledge, they don't really have any, like, dialogue or any properties. So they're kind of just there for the sake of being there, fortunately. With the exception of this guy, we can kind of interact with him. We're about to steal his little loot here like you would with a normal pickpocket. So yeah, Bentley can actually use one little power up here, and we have to steal it from this guy while he's like laughing. And it's a little lenient, so I'm gonna try and be a little bit careful here, but you can see there he stopped laughing and I was still able to pull the hanky. Normally what's supposed to happen is like when he's just upright like that and not laughing, if you try to pull the handkerchief, you'll fail the job. But if you know the timing of it, you can get around it and just pull the thing pretty quickly and pretty efficiently. Yeah, that's all that was with Bentley. That's the boring part over. Now we have a very strange part. So this is Guru. Guru by himself is a pretty useless character, except he can possess guards and utilize their abilities, except that's not as cool as it sounds because we really just kind of ram guards and stuff with him, but that in itself can be all right, especially when you're trying to break open the truck. So that's mainly what we have to do now with Guru is we have to run around and possess some guards and ram them into the back of this truck 4 times in order to get it to open so that Sly can jump inside of it. The only thing worth noting here is that like the guards here do have different jump heights. The bunnies jump slightly higher. That and this truck does have a bunch of different routes that it can take. I would like to say I know the routes pretty well. Like, I'm pretty sure I can adapt to where the truck is going to go ahead of time. Like here, there's a big branch. Like, it could have kept going there, but it decided to come back here, which is actually really optimal. Now we've got 2 hits, and now we can just take some more guards here. One thing you're also going to maybe notice me doing during this job is that you might see me turning my camera a little bit sporadically. That's actually intentional. I'm trying to do something called guard spawn manipulation. So by turning the camera in... A better way to describe it is that the game can only spawn guards in a direction where the camera is facing. So if I turn my camera certain ways to try and line it up, then like guards will have to spawn in a certain place, which thankfully they did, because that was actually really fast. I normally don't get that truck to blast open anywhere near as fast as that, but that was pretty good. Awesome there. And now we have one little point of RNG here. So we want the truck to stop closer to where we entered that last job as Murray, because that's where the last job of this day is going to be. Fortunately, he's in a little bit of an awkward spot, so we're going to have to really make up ground here and chase him down. And also, I can't push boost when I get detected by a guard. I can explain why in just a minute. I want to make sure I open this vault properly. You can actually crash the game there if you open that vault improperly. If you let off the stick at the wrong time, you can like have the game soft lock, the cutscene will end and the game will just freeze. But yeah, the reason why you can't push boost when you're detected by a guard is because push attack by itself auto targets guards. So that will just take whatever direction you're holding and it will drag Sly away from where you're intending to go, which is annoying. Like the one limitation of an otherwise awesome, great piece of tech. But yeah, so you can see here, like there's 10 seconds. After you finish that job, there's like 10 seconds of leeway before the job will actually spawn in. So if you finish that job really far away, then you are going to be unable to get to that job a little bit faster and you'll lose some time. And are you getting tired of me explaining things? Too bad, because here we have another new gimmick, which is this is going to be the main new gimmick of episode 3. I'm going to mostly stay silent, but this is the biplane. We're going to get to see this thing later on in the operation. Basically, the biplane just has a few little turns and things you can do, and it's also got limited ammo, so you really have to be careful and conserve your shots here. But the goal here is just to destroy all 25 planes. You have to make sure that planes don't crash into each other, because if they do, then I say that like you can control them. They really can't, but like if 2 planes crash into each other, they unfortunately won't count towards your running total. You really have to try and like chase these guys down, just like make good shots to the best of your abilities. This job can be really difficult without practice. I've practiced it a fair bit, so hopefully this isn't a complete disaster. If you're new to the game, it's a little hard to tell what like a good, like a good biplane section looks like, but I'm gonna try and make this look as decent as I can. Try and line up my shots here. Good shit, man. But yeah, the biplane will actually run out of ammo as indicated by that orange meter below my health, so I do have to take some ammo there. I've kind of been making some awkward turns here. This is kind of just okay. Yeah, if you're new to speedrunning this episode, this part can look really intimidating. Everybody sucks at this job when you first start, so don't sweat it. The biggest thing I can tell you about is that using your brakes to slow down and aim better is a really big part of this job. And also just like try and save your shots. Like don't lean on the trigger if you're afraid that like your line is going to be slightly bad. Just save your shots and just really try to make sure that you've got the right angles for it. Speaking of which, yeah. Sometimes you also just have to end up doing this where you have to spin around for a while trying to find a plane. Where is this last guy at? Duping here. There he is. Alright, that was okay. Yeah, that part can give, like I said, that can give a lot of new runners trouble, but it is really cool when you get a really nice time there. As you can imagine, there's also just a fair bit of RNG to it with the planes spawning in and all of that. So it's not always your fault.
I always love RNG sections where it's about sort of runner skill and being able to, you know, show off that skill ceiling. So for me, I'm like, RNG? That's awesome. I get to see how good the runner is at this. And then, of course, other people are like, RNG? Then I have to worry about what time I'm going to get on this level.
Just like no thoughts, just like, all right, whatever the split turns into, that's what we're going to just go
Exactly. We just go with it however it goes.
Yeah, well, I guess in a way, we've kind of gotten to that. So day one already has a lot of variance to it and a lot of different things can happen on day one, I suppose we could say. But now we get to day two, which is often considered by many people to be the biggest point of like run killers for episode 3, mainly because virtually every job has some absurd run ending trick or RNG or both. So that's pretty cool. Now, the one exception is this job. This job isn't too bad. It does have one major cutscene skip, which I will hopefully be able to hit, because I'm going to try and go for a more consistent setup with it that I'll explain when we get to it. But for the first part, hey, guess what? We have to go back into the hotel because we're trying to draw a mugshot outside so Carmelita can beat him up and take him to jail, because we can't do it ourselves. Otherwise, you know, we're fighting competitors directly. We might get disqualified. So we're instead going to bring in Carmelita, another one of your, you know, friends, so to speak, in order to do the job for us. And Carmelita is another very unique character. She has one cool piece of tech that really helps us speed up her gameplay, but we'll talk about that in just a minute when we get to her.
Oké, ik lok uw gevecht uit met Boefsmoe en lok hem naar het dorpsplein voor onze kloppartij.
Bentley unfortunately doesn't have Murray's common sense of just running indoors, so we're unfortunately gonna have to hop in his wheelchair all the way to Mugshot.
Ik ben er zelf ook wel blij mee.
That's all right. That wheelchair is awesome. It's the most high-tech wheelchair I've ever seen, pretty much.
Oh yeah, no, like I don't want to say, it never feels good to say this, but Bentley getting crippled might have been the best thing to ever happen to him.
Oh dear.
Series. Just because,
no thanks.
Just because, like, look at what he actually gained. You know, like who needs? Not gonna say who needs legs, but you know, like it's cool to just see like
Bentley's doing very well. We'll say that.
Yeah, that's there. You go. That's
He's very fast.
Doing well.
Back to the many fingers. It looks like there's more. Actually, maybe he only does have normal.
The texture might also just be like throwing me off. I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
En een onderkruipser met een bril uit zijn rolstoel slaan is niet mijn stijl.
Yeah, this conversation, if you're playing it in English and you're not speedrunning the game, this has some of the best dialogue options in the game. Like, there's one option where Bentley will start to insult his appearance, and then when Mugshot says, if you don't have anything to say nice, don't say anything, Bentley will just pause for like 10 full seconds of just saying nothing.
Yeah, not saying anything. That's a good way to handle it.
Like one of the funniest dialogue options in this entire series.
Mannenbezoek dan een gemiddeld urinoir.
Niemand praat zo over mijn moeder. Niemand!
Got him.
Okay,
yeah. So those of you who can't understand Dutch, we basically just called his mother a hoe. So he's pissed off. Now we're going to have to go bring Carmelita to go fight him before he comes outside and kills Bentley. All right. So now we have to go and grab Carmelita from the Times Square, or like the town square. And one thing you're immediately going to notice about me moving to this job is that as opposed to using rocket boots, I'm actually going to forego using that. And there is a reason for that. Fall in the water there. Jump a little too early. Ugh. So one interesting thing about rocket boots is that they actually slightly alter Sly's physics. If you utilize rocket boots for whatever reason, Sly's like gravity value becomes a little bit more floaty. And so basically he'll fall to the ground a lot slower than he normally would. And so sometimes when you're using rocket boots, that can alter the setup for some cutscene skips, such as this one, which I actually just realized I just fell in the water there. This is going to be awkward, actually. I'm going to have to dodge a shot here. Yeah, so normally we just have to get Carmelita to hit us in a very specific way. The cutscene is like right here in the town square. But we actually have to try and get Carmelita to kick us into it. Wow, that was a great snipe. Okay, I tried to jump intentionally to avoid that, and she just shot upwards. Very good job, Carm. Actually did her job for once. Unbelievable. Try that again. Crazy, right? She actually did her job. What? You're not supposed to do this? Supposed to just let us
Oh,
win.
we take what we can get, right?
Hey, Inspecteur Fox. Zoek je
That's
nog
great.
een
You have to.
baseballbal?
Blijf staan!
Yeah, so now one thing I'm gonna have to make note of here. I don't. Will I have noob mode? I don't think I'll have noob mode. I need to watch my health. Take this damage. I do. Okay, I'm actually gonna have to take one more hit here. And what am I doing? I can just get shot. That works. I just have to be careful here so I don't get shot second time. So I'll explain what noob mode is in a minute, but first off, let me just make sure I can get this cutscene quick. Ran into it like an idiot. Oh, seriously, Carmelita? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. She normally doesn't do that. Normally she just kicks me there. I'm so sorry. This one shouldn't be taking this long.
It's okay, you're good.
And-
We will wait as long as it takes. You got this.
Yeah, so the reason why I had to take more damage there is because Sly 3 has what we like to call noob mode, and Sly 2 has this by extension. So the more you die within a job, the less damage Sly will take the next time you spawn. It's basically a form of artificial difficulty. Like, it's meant to make the game easier the more and more you die. So it does kind of mess with speedrun tricks, though, when like this, I have to take a certain amount of damage in order to get the cutscene skip to work. And then all of a sudden the amount of damage I need to take is thrown off. Let's see, that should still be 2 hits. So Carm cooperates by staying in the proper spot. I think I've like ran in a good spot where she should be able to cooperate, pick me. There we go. And that failed the cutscene. Okay, so that's what's supposed to happen. That should not have taken me 3 attempts, but we'll run with what we got. But anyways, yeah, so now we get to play as Carmelita. Carmelita normally has a very limited rate of fire, but what you're going to see me do here is I'm kind of jumping all over the place. I'm actually doing something called a double shot. If you shoot Carmelita's gun and then immediately pick and jump, you can fire off another shot immediately afterward, basically like doubling her fire rate. So normally that fight takes a little while and you have to dodge a lot because he can kill you with dynamite. We can just absolutely nuke Mugshot and make that fight pretty trivial.
Die idioten inrekenen gaat de hele nacht duren.
Yeah, unfortunately that is the last time we're going to get to see Mugshot in this run though, so the funny Dutch dove is over. Fortunately.
Well, we got through it.
Yeah. We're on the other side of it. That's, you want to know the sad part though? That is not even the worst job of this day. That was like the least offensive job of this day. And now we have to go into what I think is the most offensive job of this day. This wolf will either be your best friend or he will absolutely just nuke your speedrun. Depending on where guards spawn immediately beneath Bentley, he can just run away and try to get out of the way of Bentley's darts. It's not too bad, but there is another cutscene skip we can do once we're about to get this wolf into the state we want him to be in, and it's very hard to do if he's just running all over the place or if he's about to hit you. So we have to, the goal here is we have to shoot this wolf with a bunch of Bentley's sleep darts, which we can do by opening his little binocular here. But the problem is we have to be at a ridiculously close distance to the wolf because of the weight of his darts, as Bentley puts it. So you kind of have to be careful here. And when you're doing a cutscene skip, you're always going to be in a state where the wolf can kill you in one hit. So you really can't mess around. You've got to be careful, and you've really got to time the cutscene skip perfectly afterwards. Not only for the 7 seconds, but also you might have noticed I used a lot of adrenaline burst there. Now, if I die after I do this cutscene skip successfully, I'll refill all of my juice. So that's honestly going to be the bigger benefit. But first of all, I got to see if I can actually hit this skip. Which, yeah, you see here, like, normally I wouldn't want him to do this. I would want him to kind of just... I would want the guard to just kind of run away, and for me to just be able to hang on from a ledge, pump him full of sleep darts, but we're kind of going to have to make do with this. You kind of saw there the pig ran away, and now we should be able to just run away from this. Unless it goes for the pigs directly. Oh, it doesn't. Ah, there he goes. Yeah, see, this guy can just, like... Sometimes this can just happen where he can just get attached to anyone he wants to and just not cooperate. And also, like, the timing...
Why doesn't it understand we're on creature corner and behave nicely?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're fitting in with the run, right?
Exactly.
I'm not even going to try and shoot him from there, because if I shoot him there, he might just kill me. Yeah, see, like, this is really awkward now. I just gotta be careful to not die.
Got this.
What is this guy even doing? Oh, gosh. Okay. Could be good up here. Yeah, so this is normally what you want to have happen, is normally you can just hang off that ledge and shoot him until you get to 3 darts. And now I'm going to try and do the skip here real quick. I mistimed it, unfortunately. Okay, so... Alright, so a few seconds lost there, unfortunately. But I might take a death abuse there to refill my juice at the end. We'll see. But that's not too bad. But anyways, so now we get to play as Guru, and we actually get to possess the wolf now, and we get to have a little bit of a cathartic rampage around town here. We have to kill a certain amount of guards in order to make sure we have less pilots to fly against tomorrow. Kids game, everybody, but yeah, you know, this is a pretty cool part at the very least. Like, the only thing worth mentioning here is that, like, the wolf's dive attack can sometimes be hard to control, and you can't fall in the water, otherwise the wolf will just instantly die. So as long as you stay away from, like, the dams on the far side, you should be okay. And then you're going to see me do a little bit more of guard spawn manipulation here to try and get some ideal spawns. That guy was in a really awkward spot, but this is okay. Yeah, I feel bad though. Like, honestly, this is like not my best day too. The wolf section was pretty awkward.
I think the wolf has a mind of its own and does what it wants, and you just kind of have to figure out what that is and deal with it. So
it's really difficult to do sometimes when you're on like a really great pace, and that guy can just sometimes
a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Goodbye, pig. That's another one.
Wow, that is a flying pig. When pigs fly.
I must have gotten him high enough to the point where he like was able to fall. But yeah, inventing flying pigs. Reinventing the wheel here. All right, but yeah, so unfortunately now we have one more job to do, and I can't move over to it quite as fast because I failed the cutscene skip. So I only have so much juice to go around. Like, normally I'd be able to just boost fully, but now I only have those two, and I kind of have to run to the trigger. There is, however, one other cutscene skip I can do here that involves bombs. So hopefully I can hit this, and then I can explain the other trick we're going to try and do. There we go. All right, so that at least worked. Now I'm dead. I skipped the cutscene there. I have full juice again. Basically, like Bentley's trigger bomb there, which is the one you saw me throw, that can kill you instantly. So by setting it off with another bomb, even if Bentley's at full health, he will just die instantly. That skipped the cutscene as we hit the trigger. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. And now I'm going to stop talking for a minute here because I do want to try and hit this. I'll explain this in a minute. Hopefully I do hit this, though. Gonna play this safe. There we go. All right. I'm very glad I hit that in the run. All right, so that what you saw me do there is ghost hacks. So what I did there was I just killed Bentley's avatar as we exited the hack. So in a nutshell, what happens now is when I enter this hack, the game still considers me dead with no collision. So instead of playing the hack, we could just do this.
Blijkbaar verzetten ze zich dit keer een beetje.
Oh.
Een
Ja.
digitaal zwart gat.
This effect only goes away when you reset the game or if you die. So we are gonna have this effect for the rest of the hack, and now every hack after
that's
this is
great.
a complete joke, and we can just skip all of them.
Huge.
Yeah.
Geen zorgen.
Now, for as bad as those two splits were, I'm very glad to have hit that because I wanted to show this off on the run today. Pretty epic that I did end up hitting this. Happy about
Oh
that.
my gosh, that's so cool. You literally just go from point A to point B.
Yeah, and like that trick was discovered like on a complete whim. I think somebody died in that hack I just finished one day. I think it was Remo. Somebody feel free to correct me on that if I'm wrong, but he just like had it happen, and then halfway through the last hack, he realized he didn't have collision, and we were like, oh my gosh, what did we just discover?
Aha, mijn laatste tegenstander.
Yeah, normally these hacks are actually like decently challenging too, with the mini bosses here and like picking up all the balls. Like, nope, sorry guys, get through all of it.
I do like that you're still shooting for fun though.
It's just might as well, you know.
Toegang.
Exactly.
De code is
Yeah.
onstabiel.
But yeah, that's a very unique skip in Sly 3. We really don't get to see anything like that again in the game. We kind of have something like that in Sly 2 across 2 hacks, but it's a little bit different. So yeah. Yeah, though, I'm happy with that. I'm very glad to have shown that off in the run. Hopefully chat was liking that.
Yeah, I can see quite a bit of hype for it. We've got the hack has been hacked.
Die systeembug komt misschien wel van
In
pas.
chat. Yes,
It has been
has.
double hacked.
Double hacked.
Cracked
Exactly.
the system behind the system. Yeah, all right, but yeah, so crazy to think that like this run is already almost over. I feel like we're just
Oh
getting,
my gosh.
yeah, we're just getting started here. But yeah, that's the end of day 2. So now we've got all the preparations in place for the final battle against Black Baron. All we have to do is we have to sabotage some of his planes so that those, what we basically just did with Bentley is he just overloaded the windmill system, and now he realized that we can basically use the windmill blades as throwing stars. And so we're going to go stick a bunch of trackers onto his gunships, take them out, and then we're going to take out Baron himself. Pretty cool operation. And the boss fight's also in a really cool setting. I think you'll like it a lot.
Can't wait. I'm sure
Yeah.
chat can't either. This has been so cool. This is one thing I really love about Sly games, and one reason I was so excited to have it on the show is that it really just feels like a million games in one, and you never know what to expect next. It can be a completely different game style than the last mission. It's a very cool series for that.
Yeah, no, Sly 3 especially is very much like that. In fact, you know what? Actually, I think I'll show this off real quick. So if I were to try to push boost there, you can kind of see like my push boost got eaten up by that guard. So I'm just going to use rocket boost there. But yeah, so Sly 3 especially is very much like that, where it almost feels like you're playing a different game from mission to mission. But in a way, I don't mind it because most of it is still a lot of fun, which I think is the important part.
Exactly.
Uitstekend.
I agree.
Het gevecht om de 3e plaats begint. Als die lui aan het vechten
But yeah,
zijn...
so this is Operation Turbo Dominant Eagle, another phenomenally named job. Do quite like
Kom aan
that.
die zenders. Ze zien er nogal
Yeah.
Turbo Dominant Eagle. Whoever that is, if they were a runner, I'd want them on this show.
Je moet deze klus
Pretty
klaar
cool.
op grote hoogte.
Yeah, so the goal here is we have to launch ourselves up to the top of these gunships and place these tracking devices. I'm actually going to intentionally fail. You failed the job if you get too low, but I wanted to do that so I can reset their cycles. And so now I can just go to this guy first and immediately go back to the second one to do this in a little bit better of a fashion. There's one. I'm just going to take this one here and kind of cut our height by paragliding early. I don't think we've really seen this in full effect as well, but that's the paraglider. That's one of those gadgets I was talking about that lets you push boost. Lets you glide through the air. I'm gonna fail again here just so I can reset their cycles. There's one of these gunships on the far side that's really annoying to get to if you just try to do it from the very beginning. So we reset the cycles, and now what I can do is I can hopefully have enough height here. And that one, and this one right here will take a very awkward path to wait for a long time. Get to this one, and now for style points.
Mooi zo. Nog maar 1 zender.
Oh no, did I seriously just do that? I usually hit that push boost. That's unfortunate. All right, that's all right though. It looks really cool if you just like hit that.
You
push
gotta go
boost.
for style. It's obligatory.
Yeah, we're out here having fun, you know. Figure out what the heck. What the heck? Okay. So nice we tried twice? Question mark? Oh. Kind of bad at the game, I'm realizing. All right, I'll take the bouncer. I feel like I've been like really good at push boosting throughout this whole run, and then when I need to. That's all right. Oh, out of there, buddy. Yeah, sorry about that. Wish we had gotten
you're
that first
fine.
try. That would have been cool.
It's hard. Movement tech is tricky to pull off.
I had to. All right, we should. If I miss this cycle now, that's gonna be funny. Yeah. All right. No, we should be good here. We'll be able to catch this. Thank you.
Catch that blimp.
Nah, he's got it. Yeah. It's a
Yeah, let's go.
pretty generous area for you to be able to land on that thing, so it's all right. What's funny is that I normally like first try that push boost a lot, and now I get into a marathon run and I miss it like 5 times. So the way it goes.
Oké, Murray. De communicatieantenne van de Zwarte Baron heeft...
All right, but yeah, so now it's time once again for everybody's favorite gimmick. We have to take the slow boat. We have to destroy these pillars.
En dingen slopen.
Yeah. We have this, and then we have a little more of the biplane, and then we have the black baron boss fight. So getting down to the wire here, but yeah, this looks way more scary than it actually is. Like, these guys shooting really aren't of any concern to us at all. Those guys can hit you, but once again, like a lot of other obstacles, you have to get hit by a lot of them in order for it to really mean anything. So I'm pretty nonchalant about it. I think that you can get away with just throwing along and not too bad. As you pull pillars down though, like this will happen where some of these guys will just appear in the water, but once again, it's really not too bad, especially when their spots are exactly the same. And one more should do it. I remember, like, as a kid, thinking this was the most cathartic part of the entire game. Like, these guys are not parachuting out of these planes. These guys are actually dead.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah, not so PG.
Oh. Fly series is very much like that, where in spite of a PG rating, they just get away with a lot of things. Like, Murray has a job in episode 2 where literally all we do is we grab guards and we feed them to a crocodile. That's the entire job. Yeah, this series can get pretty cathartic at some points. But yeah, so we have 2 main sections here coming up. This is the last main part of the job. The first part, we're going to have the biplane again, but it's really going to be short. We have to destroy just the Black Baron's plane, who's immediately going to spawn into my left. He's really not going to take very long to kill. The rest of the planes don't matter. And then after that, we're going to get on our feet and actually fight the Black Baron. But immediately right away, I can just break here. He's going to have a little bit of a light on his plane. There he is. And as soon as you see him, and then, yeah.
This looks very difficult, by the way. I will just mention.
I kind of boosted a little awkwardly there. If you're fast with that, you can kill him before Dimitri even stops talking, and so it's just like instantaneous, no downtime. Yeah, no, I mean, that's really, you gotta practice it a few times to get used to like when you want to boost, but after that, I feel like it's really not too bad. And one guy gets stuck on the... But yeah, so that's really all there was for the biplane. The biplane is a very unique gimmick, and it actually comes back in 3.6. It has a very cool mission in 3.6 where we do some really cool routing with it, throw some turrets around an island. But yeah, now we're at the Black Baron boss fight. We are just straight up fighting on the wing of a moving plane.
That is awesome.
Yeah. No, this is one of the coolest boss fights in the entire series, in my opinion. How they stay on this plane, we don't need to think about that because it's cool. Sometimes that's more important.
Yeah, exactly. The laws of physics can bend to our winds sometimes.
Sometimes, when we need them to. But yeah, this is the Black Baron boss fight. So what you're going to see me doing a lot here is I'm going to be doing these things called double hits, which I'm basically just mashing the D-pad and square at the same time. So it basically counts as me hitting Black Baron with a cane swing twice. And then after you drain a third of his health each time, his pigs will come out here and try to, defend him. They really don't do a very good job. So you can kind of just sit there and kill them immediately. The only thing you have to watch out for right there is this punch. Because, as you see there, you can get knocked off, and then that animation will play out of you jumping back up. So you can lose a little bit of time there. Speaking of time, you're going to come up to it. Right after I drain Baron's health and he starts to fall backwards, that is going to be time. I think that's 4 guys we killed. These guys will always come out in 9.
They are not putting up a very good fight, are they?
No, yeah. Once you get the timing down for that, those guys were a complete joke. They really just can't do anything to defend their boss. They're unfortunately not very helpful. All right, and we're getting ready on time, and they can also do that. And that's time. Straight to the blow.
Woo! GG.
GG's, yeah. Yeah, the pigs are a funny little thing. But yeah, that's episode 3. I'm sorry that I couldn't put up more of a great performance on day 2, but
you were great. Oh, it's all good. Live runs are live runs. Things will happen.
Yeah, that was fun though. I really hope Chad enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun running that. Thank you for having me on for this. It was great to run this episode again.
Of course, it was great to see it. You were wonderful. And yeah, chat definitely loved it. I saw so much excitement for it, especially specifically you playing in the Dutch version. People seem to really, really enjoy it, and I did too. So, fantastic stuff. Where can chat find you if they'd like to see more of what you do?
Yeah, so everybody, if you love hearing my wonderful voice, I am available over on twitch.tv/ShadowZ896. Some wonderful members of the Slack community might be able to point you in my direction if you so desire. I've also just recently started a podcast of my own on my Twitch channel, The Life Equation, where we just talk about some general life stuff. I've had some good friends of mine on there earlier. We're talking about some questions from family matters to goals and some philosophical stuff. It's really cool. So come and check it out. I'm primarily a Sly speedrunner. I've been thinking about branching up into some other stuff, but I also just love talking to people, and I'd be really cool to, get to know you, get to see what you guys are all about, and really just have some fun playing games. But yeah, thank you all for having me on. And my buddy Prof, shout out to my buddy Professor, PS2 Professor. He wanted to come on and co-commentate this run with me. He loves 3-3, but unfortunately he had some technical issues, from my understanding, that weren't his fault before the run. So we're flying solo tonight. But Satan, thank you for taking over in the co-pilot seat. I think you added a lot of flavor to the commentary. Really appreciate you joining in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, we do what we can, right? When things come up. It was a really fun run. It was a pleasure to be here with you, and thank you so much for showing Sly.
Yeah,
we're going to take a quick break before our next run, but we'll be back with Skator Gator 3D with one of our 2 newest showrunners, Osmorn. So that'll be a lot of fun. Thank you again, Shadow. Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are enjoying Creature Corner, which is, of course, the GDQ Hotfix show about non-human protagonists and player characters. And tonight we have a show full of protagonists and player characters that don't really have a lot of fur on their bones. Rather, they have got scales, slime, skin, etc. and etc. And there is no exception with our next game because we have Skator Gator 3D. And if you've never seen Skator Gator 3D, it's exactly what it sounds like and is a crocodile skating through the world at maximum speed, doing cool tricks, and just generally being radical. So, y'all are not going to want to miss this one. Stick to the channel because we have Skator Gator 3D any percent by our newest and greatest showrunner, Osmorn, coming up next. So skate us in, Oz.
Hello, Satan. First off, I just want to say, you just called this little alligator a crocodile when the game is called Skator Gator 3D.
Wait, did I say crocodile?
You did say crocodile.
What is happening to my brain? Okay, well, I formally apologize to both you and everybody watching the GDQ broadcast. Anyway, continue on.
Before we begin, do you have a preference in what skin we use? I'm gonna let you choose, Satan. We got Greensman, Cyanthony, Cherry Cola, Trader Gator, who is the villain, Tori. We got Sunny G. We got Graydon. We got Sakura.
Oh my gosh.
We got
There's so many good
Pals.
choices.
We got #1 frog fan, Gectoplasm, Gilded Gary,
goodness.
and Chonky. We can't do Chonky Boy. Chonky Boy actually messes
We can't do Chonky Boy? I was gonna say. I think we gotta go for the villain. I don't know. I'm kind of a villains person.
We're gonna be Trader Gators. We're gonna be Trader Gator.
Yeah, Trader Gator.
Trader Gator. It's funny because we're gonna be chasing down Trader Gator in the Trader Gator outfit, but we'll see.
I don't mind. I think we can break the lore.
We can break the lore, yeah. So Skator Gator 3D is a 3D skating platformer. It has rail grinding sections as well as, normal platforming sections. It is a really quick run and also very, very accessible. I would argue it's one of the most accessible games, if not the most accessible game you can probably find out there in speedrunning world right now. And it's only $5 on Steam, might I add. If after this you want to try it for yourself, please do, because it's really, really good.
You might be looking at your next speed game, Chet.
Please, yeah. It's a really good game. Time is gonna start when I get that deed back right here and start the first level. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so we're gonna start off immediately in a skating section. We are here to chase off Trader Gator because he stole the deed to our swamp, except we're Trader Gator, so we're kind of chasing out after ourselves. Yeah, playing as Trader Gator in this game has a weird lore application, but we're just gonna keep going. You can just press X to gain a boost of speed on every single rail grind that you have, and then you can also dash and then jump to perform a super dash. We're pressing X to dash and we're pressing A to jump, like so. And so every time you perform a dash, you have a little bit of a grace period in order to perform a jump that will be a little bit higher, shoot out a little bit of flames to perform a super dash, which gives you a little bit of height and a little bit more distance than a regular jump would otherwise. So that's level 1. As you can see, I did that pretty fast, and it's still 6 seconds slower than what my PB for this level is. This game is like incredibly hyper optimized. I want to say it's only like world record is only like 7 minutes for any percent right now, and
wow.
That was like a time that we didn't think would be really possible when we first started playing it. I'm just like, this game is going to cap out at like 8 minutes, and so no, it ended up being like 7 minutes long. And so we're just going to dash here. As you can see, the super jumps do help us with like skipping specific platforms, like cutting corners, all that jazz. It's like really, really helpful. We're going to be introduced to the one and only real glitch in this run, which is the teledashes. If you get on a dash pad and then you just pause like that, you can just have a huge boost of speed straight to the other end of the level. Essentially, when you were on a dash pad, the game like builds up your speed, and then when you pause, your character is stuck on the dash pad, and then it will continue to like build up speed on the dash pad, despite the fact that you are paused. And so, but it does cap out, thankfully. So like, it's not, we don't like get thrown off to the end of the level. It does cap out at some point. And so we use it only on specific dash pads, and only dash pads that like, are going in the direction that we want to go in. And so we're going to do what I would argue to be like the hardest teledash, which is this one right here. The timing for this is really weird. Yeah. See.
It's worth it to go for it again.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's still saved like a second. The thing with like teledashes in this game is that because of how small like the levels are, it's really only worth going for it like a few times before they're just not worth going for anymore. That where like it just would have been faster to just not go for it in the first place. But the other thing about it is that they're just like so easy to set up and do that you kind of get stuck in the cycle of like continuing to want to do it, even though like at this point you probably lost time in attempts. This specifically is a boss level. All the boss levels are exclusively on rails, and so as you can see, Trader Gator is attacking us with his electric tail. And so it brings us shock of electricity every time he does that. That's pretty much all the boss levels are, just trying to avoid his shocks, but also trying to boost at the optimal times. And so that's pretty much it. And now we're going to the evening levels. This game is kind of split up into 3 small acts: the daytime levels, the evening levels, and then the nighttime levels. We're in the evening levels. These are pretty much they're all like pretty much increasing in difficulty as the game goes on, but even then I don't think they're too brutal. There are different categories for this game, like all Skator Gator, all Skator letters. Like you can see in the top right corner, you can click the letters that spell out Gator. And so we have a category for that, and of course 100%, which includes all the collectibles. Not many people run them, only because like you have to slow down a lot to collect a lot of the collectibles, and so but at any percent you can go really, really fast. And this game is kind of built for speedrunning, only because you can see in the top left corner there is a timer that ends when you like finish a level right here, kind of like how Sonic games work, where it's like it starts the moment that you like do a first input, and then it ends the moment that you hit the actual like flag at the end of the level. And so we're gonna see that. And now this is another really cool level in which we get introduced to the electricity, or the electric eels. It's an eel that like goes around us, and we can also use it to kill enemies, like so. We're gonna do a teledash right here. We're gonna be doing this teledash on the right side of this telepad, or of this dash pad, only because the way that the dash pads work and the teledashes work is kind of like it will give you a lot of distance, but it will also like transport you to the opposite side of like where you perform the teledash. So if you like perform the teledash on the right side of the dash pad, it'll transport you a little bit to the left and vice versa. And so we aren't really sure why it does that, but it is helpful in certain cases just to know which direction you should be facing. So yeah, that is the second to last level. Sorry, this is the second to last level of the evening levels. Actually, no, there is not. There's one more after this. I keep forgetting that there's another one after this. Because
they go by so fast that I don't blame you for mixing it up.
And this one is a really nice skip here. You can just jump onto that. We can just jump onto that tire. The tires are really bouncy, and so they do help as a nice skip. So we can just get the end level like so. Less than a second off my PB on that one. That's good.
Ooh, nice.
We're going to go here. Beware of foes. There's a lot of bees in this level, and so they're hard to like maneuver at times, only because, especially with how many rails are on this level, because sometimes their behaviors can be a little bit unpredictable. We're gonna go through here. It's not the same as the last level. There's a bit. We need to use coyote frames a little bit for this one. You can just do a super jump out of here, and then boom, onto that tire, onto this tire. You want to teledash off of this guy? Nope. Oh wait, accidentally does that. That happens sometimes. Where if you like the I did this during my GDQ run where I accidentally quitted out of a level and restarted it instead of performing a teledash, and that almost costed me the race. And so it's only appropriate that I do it for my second time that I've been showing this on the GDQ channel, just to recreate the scenario that almost lost me the race. First of all, while I'm getting back to that position, shout out to Alice and 8-Bit, who was the other racer for me with that race. It was a really good run. You should check it out. We're going to teledash on here. There we go. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. And now this last one is a really nice skip here, where you can use the coyote frames off of these houses to get a little more distance here and skip a lot of platforming that you can see over there on my left. This last one is always weird because I can't really ever time the... There we go. This bee always comes up in a weird position for me. All right, now...
So why are the houses submerged? Do we know?
It's a swamp. Yeah, some of the.
So you just build your houses on the floor.
Yeah, well, there are other characters in this world that is more than just us and Skator Gator, and some of them do canonically live underwater because they're part of the swamp, or at least they're part of the greater swamp area. And then we own a little portion of the swamp, which for some reason Skator Gator wants. You can jump over both these at the same time. Thankfully, they sync up. In this level, it is a little bit of a hint towards the end of towards the final boss, because this is the level that is introduced. You are introduced to the fact that you can actually use the electric eels to damage Skator Gator, but the game purposefully makes it so that you cannot kill him in this level, no matter how hard you try. And so there's just simply not enough time to do it. As you can see, if you get a certain amount of damage on him, he'll just leave, and so that's something we can do. Also, if you fall into the water after hitting the final flag, it'll bring you back to the last checkpoint, and then you can skate during the cutscene. It's really fun. There's only 2 times you can do it. These are the nighttime levels. These are the hardest levels in the game, objectively, which is, makes sense. The difficulty ramps up the more you go, and we are going to take it a little bit easy, admittedly. But we also get access to a new mechanic called the wing, which is essentially just a double jump in this game. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna stock up on a little bit of these, just make it easier on ourselves. There we go.
And it's a double jump, but it's consumable, right?
It is consumable, yes. Once you use a double jump, you have to get another wing to use it again, which typically doesn't pose much of an issue, I will say. I should not have used the wing there. I forgot that there's this, but you can also get here without the wing. The wing makes it easier.
Nice.
You can jump here.
But why would we do things the easy way? We could do them the cool way.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the easier way that way is also the faster way, typically. But the cool way, we're going to use the cool way there as well. Pollution panning. This is the second to last normal level before we get to the boss. Even though this is like the last normal level is pretty big with the factory and has a really big skip, but here we're actually going to be stockpiling a large amount of wings because we're going to be performing a teledash that is pretty important, and we're going to try and hold up as many wings as we can. Normally I'd like to have 4 here, but 2 works because I want to use 1 here, and then we can teledash off of this guy. Perfect. There we go. All right. And so typically you want the wing because if you get like teledash too far, it has risk of like just putting you on top of the water, and then if you hit the water, you have to go back to the last checkpoint that you hit. And so, or at the very least, sometimes on the last stable ground you were on. And so having the wing is just like a safety precaution to make sure that you don't fall in the water while not losing your momentum. So this is the factory. This is the second to last level of the game. The last like platforming level of the game, but it's gonna be the last level, the second to last like full. I am messing up this super dash in ways that I have never messed it up before. There we go. This is the second to last level, last platforming level, but then there's the final boss, which as we established is only on rails, which is Skator Gator himself. And then we're just going to bring this, we're going to bait this car here, and then we're going to use it as a platform. Perfect. We're going to, it's important that we get that checkpoint in case we miss this up, but we're actually going to grab this guy right here. And then we want to preserve it. We want to make sure that we don't accidentally use it. We're going to teledash onto the left side of this pad so we can get transported a little bit more to the right. Then on this barrel, and then super dash up here. Super dash up here. Thank God. Okay, that's like the hardest skip in the game. I did not. Well, I got a checkpoint. Doesn't matter. That's like the hardest skip in the game, and the fact that it like happens on the second to last level when there's only like a minute left in the run is infuriating. And yes, it is more bothersome than you would expect it to be. It is a pretty precise platforming trick that definitely abuses a lot of the. That definitely abuses a lot of like the wings and the height that you can get from it. You essentially just use the wing at the very peak of the height to get onto that checkpoint, and that skips like several minutes of this level, by the way. And so I'm very glad that I got it first try. This last level is the final boss, Skator Gator himself. We are fighting Skator Gator as Skator Gator. Don't think too hard about that. We're going to try and get the eel as fast as possible, because in doing so we can actually now damage Skator Gator. We want to be here in it. We want to like get a very specific. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, so we want to try and get a fast cycle on here. And the reason that I started over instead of just letting the second cycle go through is that the second cycle for Skator Gator is actually so long. It's faster to just die and then try and get the fast cycle again. There we go. You want to buffer that specific one that I just hit, because if you are too fast, it actually will go past Skator Gator before he even lands on the rail again. Okay, one more here, and you want to jump on over that dash pad on the rail, because otherwise he'll boost forward and jump before you get the chance to hit him. And time. That's it. That's
oh my goodness. That is a fast Gator and a fast Osborne.
Yeah. It's a very quick run. Yeah, let's watch the cute cutscene here while we do this outro.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we got the detour swap back. Of course, we are actually Green Jimin. that is the main character of this game. Look at him. He's so cute.
He is so cute. This whole game's so cute.
This whole game's
great
so
creature
cute.
feature kind of game.
But yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, if you wanna see more of me, I occasionally stream with my friends. Mainly, I've been wanting to get into like more Among Us stuff and like multiplayer stuff, like Archipelago and stuff like that. We do those as well on occasion. But if you want to see me consistently, I have a show here on GDQ Hotfix every other Monday at 10 p.m. It's a Scenic Route. It's a very new show focusing on glitchless and MG runs, and so. Yeah, if you want to check that out, that's every other Monday at 10 p.m. right after Perilous Paths on this same week that Satan's on. Very glad to be sharing a week with Satan. Lots of really good content for sure. And so aside from that, you can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter. I'm more active on Blue Sky and of course on Twitch, twitch.tv/Osborne. If you want to get this game, it is $5 on Steam. Only $5, like base price. It is a game that you can like beat in an hour or two and then start speedrunning the same day. It is incredibly accessible. No down patching required. There's barely any glitches in the game other than teledashes, and of course you don't have to do the teledashes if you don't want to and still get a pretty good time. They don't save that much time. And technically you don't even need a timer or a live split. The game has an in-game timer and only uses shows your time at the end of the level. Like we can add stuff up for you. Like it's chill. Shout outs to Shovelclaws, who's also moderator for the game and commentated at AGDQ. Shout out to Allison 8-Bits, who was my fellow racer at AGDQ last year that we did this run at. And shout out to the devs. The devs are like really, really supportive of the speedrunning community and are really, really enthusiastic about like all the stuff that we find. Like they never patch any glitches, they never do anything, even though there's not really that many glitches to run. But still, they're very supportive of the community. So if you want supportive community, supportive devs, and like a really, really accessible and good game to play, then you should get this. Have I convinced you enough? If not, just go buy the game yourself and play it. You'll be convinced, I promise. But yeah, that's all from me. Enjoy the rest of Creature Corner.
That was maybe the best pitch that I've ever heard, potentially, for a speed game on any of these shows. Incredible job, Oz. Thank you so much for the run. And yes, please do check out Osborne's show, The Scenic Route, that is indeed focusing on glitchless runs or no major glitch runs. That is on Monday, on the same time slot as we're here on Creature Corner. And it is on this week, our fun little week of Hotfix shows. So yeah, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us. And up next, we're going to have Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Spyro the Dragon, by a runner that is going to be in the upcoming Fall Fest Fastest Furs Marathon. So if you'd like to see that, please stick around through the race. And welcome back to Creature Corner, the GDQ Hotfix show about non-human protagonists and player characters in speedrunning. And we have been doing our night of non-furry protagonists, so animals with skin, scales, slime, the like. And we're going to go ahead and go to the land of the slightly more mythical versions of animals with a game that features one of our favorite dragons. We've got Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Spyro the Dragon, and I also want to note that this is a bit of a preview for an upcoming marathon by Fastest Furs, their Fall Fest. So we are going to have this same runner doing the same run during that marathon. So you get to see it early here first. So with that, let's go ahead and do some Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Spyro the Dragon, any % NBS by Jamie. Have fun!
Hello, I'm Jamie. This is Spyro Reignited Trilogy, just a remaster of the original 1998, 99, and 2000 trilogy for Spyro. Like Satan said, we're going to be doing any % NBS. So there's going to be a lot of things I need to talk about here at the beginning. So I'm going to try and talk a lot about it through the starting cutscene that we will also end up skipping. So we're going to try and go. All right, starting time in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. So, the main thing I should say, we are going to be going for the RTA world record. Only 2 people have actually tried to play this game for RTA record, and it was a long time ago on an old route. And when I say RTA record, I say because we time this using loadless because the loads are very inconsistent. So there's a couple things to do for that. First of all, we just skipped Nestor. We performed a skip. By simply jumping as we hit Nestor, we can skip the entire 30-second cutscene. It's a lot easier to do that here than it is in the OG version. But yeah, so we just did a skip. Alrighty, we're 1 for 1 so far. We're doing amazing.
Wow. Perfect run.
Perfect. So when I say we're going for RTA record, the thing that we're going to do to achieve that is we're going to be doing these things called fly-in skips. You may have noticed that entering this level, from entering the level to actually starting the level was a pretty long load. To be fair, this level does have the longest load for just no reason. But we are going to do fly-in skips to try and avoid as many loads as possible to try and get the RTA world record. And what a fly-in skip is essentially if you pause the game the exact same frame you touch a level portal to trigger the loading screen, you can actually quit the game to the menu, and then you can continue your save file through the main menu, and it starts you at the beginning of the level, and it skips a huge load. So we're going to be trying to hit those as many as we possibly can. And it's not viable on most levels when we're actually doing runs, but for RTA, we're doing it everywhere. But we're going to miss it a bunch because it is frame perfect and we're running on 50 FPS. Now that all that talking's out of the way. Now that all that talking's out of the way, we're going to do another skip real fast. So should be 2 for 2. And then I'll talk more about the category because we'll have a tiny bit of like easygoing downtime. So the skip we're about to do here is called Fairy Proxy. This is the only dragon in the game that we can do this. But basically, every time you collect a dragon, it spawns a fairy. Her name is Zoe. She is meant to like be a checkpoint system. And this is the only dragon that it happens, but we can actually, if we stand in a specific spot, we can basically get teleported on top of Zoe at the end of the dragon cutscene and just jump straight to the end of the level, so we can just collect some more dragons, get some more gems as fast as we can. Which now brings me into the category, any percent NBS. This category is basically just like a no major glitches. We are collecting the bare minimum requirements to progress in the game. So throughout the run, we're going to be getting a bunch of different collectibles, or a lot of collectibles. So by the end of this first homeworld, which we are coming up on right now, we actually need to have saved at least 10 dragons to get to the next homeworld. By the second homeworld, we need 1,200 gems. The third homeworld, we need, eggs. We need 5 dragon eggs, then 50 dragons, then 6,000 gems. So this whole game is just getting those requirements. And NBS stands for no balloonist skip, which here in the second homeworld, there's a skip we can do to get out of bounds. And the devs left a dev portal out of bounds that you can basically just teleport you straight to the last homeworld. And if you do the balloonist skip correct, you can just skip a few levels in the last homeworld and just go straight to the final boss to beat the game. I think loadless, the record is like just under 5 minutes or something like that. It's very quick. So yeah. We are in Peacekeepers now. Well, webcam. We are going to the next level is the first level where we would actually go for flying skips, which I need to remember to. I forgot to go for it on this one because I'm not used to going for it on every level. So I'm failing already, but we still hit both tricks we've gone for, so it's all good.
You're doing great, and I love that we are seeing an entirely different version of the speedrun here adapted for the marathon setting. That is super cool.
Yeah. So something fun about this game, So there are different kinds of chests that are scattered throughout the game, and you have to break them to get gems. There are just regular wooden chests, which you can charge into or use a flame to break to get the gem out. There are metal chests that you have to charge through. There are firework chests, which you're supposed to flame, but we can also charge into. At the beginning of this level was something called a spring chest. What is supposed to happen, the interaction that's supposed to happen there is you're supposed to flame the chest, the gem then springs out of the chest and you're supposed to jump and get it. But in this game, if you are charging, if you jump at the right time, Spyro's hitbox hits the chest, which sends the gem up in the air, and because you already jumped, you instantly collect it. It's not a very hard thing to do. I just messed it up because I'm super nervous. Because it wouldn't be. And
you're doing a great job. Don't worry about it. I think everybody's loving you. I'm seeing so much love in chat for you and so much support. And you were just doing a lovely job showing us this really cool game.
Spyro community is the coolest community.
I can very much see what you're talking about there. It is lovely to see all this in chat.
Oh. Missed an easy jump. How dare I? There we go. So, if you noticed, we actually hit a flying skip at the start of this level. Loadless, each flying skip saves around 4 seconds, but RTA, they can save like 15 to 20 seconds each on most levels. So we need to keep hitting those. Oh yeah. This is Cliff Town. This is the most annoying level in Peacekeepers, simply because at a higher level, you are almost required to hit the fly-in skip to have a good start to the run. And it's frame perfect, obviously, and the optimal FPS to play this game is 50 FPS, which I guess I should talk about FPS a little bit. So this game is made using the Unreal Engine, and if you don't know what that means, it basically means the lower your FPS is, the higher you jump. So you would think running on a lower FPS is really good. We have it to where you can only run, like for leaderboards, you can only run from 30 to 60 FPS. But another interesting thing, certain gems from certain enemies fall faster at higher FPSs, meaning you can collect them quicker. So the balance really is going in between 30 and 60, kind of. But most people just play on 50. And we avoid certain FPS counts because one level in the next homeworld actually does genuinely just break and you cannot progress in the level at all if you are on an FPS that is a multiple of 12, so like 36 FPS or 48 FPS. It's a weird thing. Now we're going into flight levels. Super cool. Not really.
I couldn't tell.
So flight levels are the only time we're actually flying in this game, which is funny considering we are playing as a dragon, but each flight level, and we will do a few more in the run, each flight level has 8 different collectibles, but each collectible has, or I should say like 8 targets collectibles, and each one you have to collect 8 of. No, 4. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry. I'm so nervous.
You're
4
fine.
different.
Counting is hard. I know as a host, I
numbers.
Can't count half the time. That's my
numbers are the
rule.
worst.
Exactly.
So there are 4 different collectibles in flight levels, and we have to get 8 of each collectible to beat the level. For every 8 collectibles you get, you actually get 60 gems. But if you do all of them in one run through of the level, you get an extra 60 gems on top. So realistically, every fight level we do, we are getting 300 gems, which will help towards our goal of eventually getting 6,000 gems. So yeah, it's pretty boring on flight levels. There's not a whole lot going on. Some of them are a bit trickier than others, but funny enough, there are 5 flight levels in the game. At a time, we only did 4 of them. Then we made a route that did all 5, but then we made another route that cut out the one we added, and now we're on this current route, which cut out another flight level. So instead of 5 flight levels, we're only doing 3. And it's good, because the 2 we cut out are the longest and worst ones. So that's awesome. Because no one likes sunny flight or icy flight, especially in SRT. Terrible levels. But yeah.
It's good to route out the levels that the speedrunners like less.
Yeah. And my favorite thing is the last route and the current route we use were named after a dancing fox gif that I had on my stream for the longest time. This is the Stevenson 2.0 route, and the last route was Stevenson route. I just had a little dancing fox on my stream, just called him Stevenson, and we named a route after him, I guess.
Why not?
Oh, yeah. I should say there is also console versions of this game. They run a bit different. They use IGT instead of loadless. And because they use IGT, their routing is actually different. And they do a lot of different things. It's still pretty cool. And it's funny because when I started playing, there used to be like no console runners, but currently console runners are like a majority of the runners in this game at the moment. So that's pretty cool. It's fun to see the console versions get some love. Yeah, we're just gonna be running through all these levels, getting all the gems we can. One term we like to use is GPS, or gems per second. So all the gems we are grabbing are calculated in the gem route, and we have calculated the exact amount of gems per second each gem is realistically to grab the most optimal gems along the way of getting dragons. So I think the standard gems per second that we use for SRT is about 4 gems per second, 4 to 4.5, somewhere around there. So we will be running past a lot of gems, but the gems we don't collect we're not collecting for a reason, and that's because it is less optimal. And we also went for a little trick there. If you hit that guy at a certain angle, you actually hit him on top of a metal chest. And that guy, there's a few enemies like that in this level, and they're really finicky. They don't die when they are pushed off the cliff. The game calculates them dying when their Y level changes, because at the end of each cliff side, there's a small drop in Y level change. The game calculates that the enemy changed Y level positions and kills them. But if we just hit him in a certain way, he actually gets pushed on top of the chest and dies. And that means we can save hitting him a second time. So yeah, currently, I also have a bunch of notes on my screen for gem routing, so I can keep track of how many gems I've collected to see if I'm missing any, how under I am, so I can kind of adapt to what's happening. And that's what I find really fun about this category, is it's not always the exact same. Sometimes you're on runs that have really good gem counts. Sometimes you're on runs where you're like 30 gems under and you're starting to like be hurting for gems. Currently, we're only 1 gem under, which is not bad. It's what we like to see. So yeah, we are about to have a new game mechanic called supercharging. Yay!
That sounds
It is, in my opinion, supercharging in this game is what makes SRT one of the coolest speed games out there. It's very scary for newer players, but once you give it a try, it's super fun, although they can be challenging. So supercharging, there are ramps on certain levels where if you start charging down it Spyro will actually get the supercharge effect, which allows him to run super duper fast and pretty much is indestructible, can break anything, can kill anything. But what makes it so scary on PC is we actually do all our supercharges using keyboard mouse. We call them KBM strats. The reason we do that is because when they ported the game over, I guess they didn't do the absolute best job in terms of porting using, like thinking about keyboard and mouse being used on the game. So whenever you're using keyboard and mouse, if you are turning with your mouse instead of like, you know, like analog stick or arrow keys or WASD, if you turn with your mouse, you can turn a lot faster, which allows us to carry supercharges as long as possible and collect as much as we can. So that's what we're doing right now. This is the High Cave Supercharge, also known as Bite Caves. We're messing up because why wouldn't I? But that's fine. Kind of backed it up all right. This is, funny enough, this is like the easiest supercharge in a level that we do, and it probably looks very scary.
It does look very scary, but you're, you know, just handling like a champ, like you just do it every day.
Yes.
Which, yeah, that's what speedrunning is.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, supercharging is really fun. It's probably the thing I think gives SRT the most, I think it's the biggest identity factor for SRT is the supercharging, because what we can do with it is amazing. And what I'm hopefully going to be able to do here in this run later will look incredible. But for the 100% category for this game, which is called 120%, we have even crazier supercharges.
Cannot wait to see. But I gotta check that out later.
The next level we're gonna do will have a really cool supercharge, so hopefully that goes well. But for now, we're doing Alpine. This is a very cycle-based level, and this is also the level where if your game is on an FPS that is a multiple of 12, the game will break and you cannot progress. Basically, there are a bunch of these green wizards that like move platforms, move stairs up and down and everything. They will actually get stuck on certain FPSs, like I said, and they just will not move. So like this wall right in front of us will just stay up and you can't progress. It's very silly. So we're trying not to miss any gems. Oh. Should also say, there's a little dragonfly following us. This guy's name is Sparks. He can be a bit of a meanie sometimes, but he's also a godsend. He has two functionalities. He shows how much health we have, and if you have Sparks, he collects nearby gems for you, so you don't have to run directly on top of him. And when I say for health, so normally, if you have gold Sparks or yellow, as some might say, you have full health. We are currently on blue Sparks, which means we took one hit, but we can still take 3 hits before we're dead. Green Sparks, you take 2 hits before you're dead. And then if you take a hit with green Sparks, you lose your Sparks, meaning you can't collect gems as easy. And also the next hit you take, you're dead and you respawn. And also, Prism Lizard, I see you in chat. Yes, 60 FPS does break it.
Wow, you're ahead of me. I was just about to ask you for chat. Wow.
I'm so on top of it. No!
Maybe we can do it all.
There we go. We do a styled 360 there because we're better. We're just better.
It's all for style. Speaking of style, these shades, awesome.
They're the best. I should also say we're using yellow Spyro, but in my presence, it's not yellow Spyro, it's mustard Spyro. This is by far the most underrated Spyro color. Everyone hates it, but everyone should love Mustard Spyro. By far the best.
Honestly,
With
I would
the
say
shades.
he's really easy to see against the background. And I think that that's actually kind of practical.
Yes. So here we go with the second hardest supercharge in the run. So hopefully this all goes well. This is a very scary charge because of one specific spot that we will talk about in a second.
Ooh. Whoa. That was so precise. This is wild. I hope chat is appreciating this as much as I am.
Oh.
I'm sure they are. Oh.
We messed up, but it's fine. So basically, why that charge is so hard is on that last island there, we're supposed to jump around and kill that thief. But whenever we kill thieves in the game, we have to kill them while we are in midair. Because if we kill them while we are touching the ground, it plays a cutscene that is unskippable, and it would take us out of the charge. So we are trying to jump at a certain angle to where we hit him in the air, but we also need to land back on that very small platform and keep enough speed to jump that really big gap to get to the end of the level. So yeah, it's a pretty hard charge. Sorry I messed it up, but it happens.
Looking at it, I'm like, there's no way I could hit that in a trillion years. So the fact that you even attempted it is incredible.
Yeah, some of the supercharges in this game take a lot of practice, and even then they're still not super consistent, but we still have another supercharge later in the game, pretty much at the very end of the game, that is easily the biggest run killer of the game. Since we've added it to the game, this run went from being like one of the most fun runs ever to being like one of the most scary runs too, because it's a really hard supercharge that happens to also be like 3 splits before the end of the game. So it's very like, you get there on pace, you're nervous, it's almost impossible to get that level good. But we will hit it for sure. I'm gonna make sure I have a good Haunted Towers because we messed up Wizard Peak. Also, this is Crystal Fight, another fight level. Just nothing to talk about, nothing new, you know, just... yeah, all good. It's perfect.
Perfect run, no notes.
No, yeah. I mean, I've seen 0 mistakes so far this run. Zero
Zero
mistakes.
It's convenient that sometimes we forget how to count.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said earlier, I'm bad with numbers.
You're doing great.
Alrighty, so now we're about to go into one of the best named bosses of the game, Blowhard. Super great name.
That is a great name.
So at the end of every homeworld, there is a boss that you can just get a bunch of gems. A lot of the bosses in this game are really like, they're kind of boring because it's really, you just run at them, flame them, then they go somewhere, then you do it again, and then you do it a third time, and that's it. There is one exception to that, which is Metalhead, which is in the next homeworld. But we won't be beating him. We're too cool to beat him. We don't need him. Yeah, this is Blowhard. Also a very cycle-based level here at the start, which we already messed up because hitting a double spring chest is very hard. If you jump at the right spot, similar to when you're jumping into a spring chest, if you're falling onto a spring chest while charging, the same effect applies. The gem will get sprung up into the air, but you're already above it, so you instantly collect it. So double spring chest is something you can do. Very hard to do. I've also just realized I've been forgetting the flying skips again, so shame on me. But that's okay. We're gonna 100% hit the rest of them because I now remember and never miss them because I am the pause master.
Chat, can we help Jamie remember? Hit all the tricks to do the pauses. we can send her your energy.
Thank you. $33.99. Oh my god. And we're going to Beast Makers now. A few years ago, this used to be the scariest homeworld because of 2 levels. One, Misty Bog. Misty Bog is just, it's always an annoying level because the enemies are just super aggressive and they can hit you a bunch and cause you to lose time. But the scarier level is Treetops because there's a supercharge in there that used to be considered one of the hardest charges in all of SRT1, but is now, by most standards, considered pretty tame, very consistent. It is still very easy to mess up, but it's not too hard compared to what else we have to do. So yeah, now we're going into Terrence Village. We love Terrence. We get to do a cool trick in this game for Terrence, and that is called Torch Jump. And it's a trick where we abuse a mechanic that the devs put into the game to help the bad players. So, yeah. There's a mechanic in the game called Auto Hover. So basically in OG Spyro 2 and 3, they added this mechanic called hovering where after gliding for a certain amount of time, you can press a button and Spyro actually just goes up into the air a bit, flaps his wings, and you can basically use it to land in certain spots. But when they were making SRT1, they decided they wanted something similar to that, but not exactly that. So essentially, just like we did it right there, perfect. Essentially, what happens is if Spyro is gliding and lands very close to an edge, but doesn't quite make it over the gap, the game will give Spyro a small auto hover to help them get to the top of whatever jump they're trying to make. So yeah, we abuse it to land on top of that torch and save like 7-8 seconds. It's pretty cool. It's not too hard. It's just kind of a specific lineup for it. Wow. Alrighty, and then we're gonna just finish up the level. And then, of course, we never forget Bruno. This is the biggest meme with SRT. Coming out of Terrence, you don't see him, but there's a dragon right here. Because we enter in from the back, the dragon is out of sight when you exit the level, so you don't see him. So it's very common for new runners or people derusting the game to just forget Bruno exists. It's happened to me multiple times. It's happened to other top runners multiple times. It just happens. So we never forget Bruno. We love Bruno.
Out of sight, out of mind, until you can't do that for the speedrun. Don't forget him.
But now we're doing the last flight level that we're going to be doing this game, Wild Flight. This is easily considered the hardest flight level, and according to a certain Steam thread, it is impossible to beat this level. Impossible.
Impossible?
Oh, impossible. Exactly. We're just so good. We just defy all logic and just beat the level anyways.
Wow, speedrunners truly are amazing.
But yeah, this level just has some tight cycles for like faster routes, and it's also a level that is very easy to die on because if you touch the water, you die. And some of those arches that we flew through, their collision, after you fly through them, they break into pieces, and some of those pieces still have collision that can just push you into the water and kill you. There's easy ways to avoid that, but sometimes you just forget it happens, and it happens. So yeah. So I'm going to look at my gym count real fast. We are currently 43 gyms under. Not too great. We missed a few gyms throughout the run. So these are not good backup gyms, but we're doing it anyways. We're gonna get those gyms. And we're gonna go into Misty Dog. I should I also say that the different colored gems represent different gem values. Pink gems are 25, yellow gems are 10, blue gems are 5, greens are 2, and reds are 1. So we want to be trying to collect as many gems of the higher values as we can when possible. And the further you get into the game, the more the gems kind of ramp up. You'll notice that like levels in the first homeworld, we were getting like 100 gems to 200 gems maybe at best. Some of these levels in these later homeworlds can have like 400 gems to 500. So yeah. So Misty Dog, very aggressive enemies. It's not too big a deal on SRT as compared to OG, but it can still be a problem, mostly with these frogs. These frogs, the bog frogs. At Oddkara, oh my god. Alright. Well, I'm moving so fast, I don't even know what to... I just keep forgetting things to talk about. This is crazy. Oh my god.
You're doing great. I've been having a lot of fun watching, and I know Chad has too. I guess, quick question. What got you into Spyro speedrunning in the first place?
So when I was a kid, I actually played the original Spyro, but it wasn't my copy. I used to, with my cousin, we both had PS2s, and we would trade games at daycare, and we would just like trade games for like a few weeks and then give them back. So I got introduced to Spyro through my cousin, and then about late 2020, I was scrolling Steam because I was bored. I was tired of playing Counter-Strike and Overwatch. I wanted something new. So I decided to look on Steam, and I saw SRT on Steam for sale, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know they remastered the game. I picked it up, played through the first game, and I was like, I wonder what the speedrun for this looks like, because I was always a fan of speedrunning. I watched the speedrun, and the world record at the time was held by a guy named Bobby Bill at a 32:55, I think. I watched it, and I was like, I think I can do that. Then I started running the game, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. So this is your first ever speed game. That's really cool.
Yes, this is the game that started it all for me. And it's funny now too, because my PB is more than 2 minutes faster than what the world record was at the time of me starting to play. And the world record overall is about 3 minutes faster than when I started playing. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. That's one of the coolest things about speedrunning as a hobby is that, you know, we all collectively make games better.
So right here we have a pretty hard supercharge. We're missing a few gems. That's fine. This part right here is really what makes it hard. Getting this thief. Oh, we bonked. Okay, we almost had it. You basically just want to like keep your supercharge, run through that thief to get his gem. Then you want to keep the supercharge while you're up top, fall off of it, off the map, and land back on at the bottom section while keeping supercharge, so that way you can break all the fan chests, because the fan chests you have to flame 3 times for them to break, whereas if you supercharge them, you just run into them and they break. So yeah, it can be a little tricky sometimes, but that's easily what makes that level like a bit tricky. It used to be the hardest. It's still nowhere near the hardest thing we have to do. Still have one more really hard level, and it sucks, champ. It's the worst. So yeah, now we're going to Metalhead. This is the boss of this homeworld. We like to call him Jank Man because this level, for some reason, just breaks the most out of any other level in SRT1, and we mean like gems will despawn, gems will fall through the ground, clip through walls. The boss himself, and during certain animations that should be happening, will just decide like, he's just not going to do them. Sometimes the boss gets stuck. This level is just really funny. So we're on a good enough gem count where we can skip a lot of gems there. It may come back to haunt me later with the one level that's gonna be coming up because it's very easy to miss gems, but I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, Metalhead is also like a bit different from every other boss. Instead of just running at him and flaming him 3 times, you just break these poles and he goes to the next phase. But like I said, we're not going to beat Metalhead. We're actually just going to stop about halfway through the boss fight because we don't need any more gems. Then we are about to be off to the second to last homeworld. Gem count's looking pretty good. I'm going to grab a few extra gems just in case. Because, like I said, the first level in the next homeworld is easily the hardest level in the entire run. And is very easy to miss gems because we're supercharging. So yeah.
Imagine being
going into Dream
Metalhead
Weeks.
and then fighting your opponent and being like, yeah, the best person will win. I gotta beat Spyro. And then Spyro just pieces out midway. Because he got all the gems he needed. Just like, nah, I don't need to finish this. What? Where'd he go?
Just gone. So yeah, this is the second to last homeworld. We are about to enter the hardest level in the game, Haunted Towers. And it is the hardest level in the game for 2 reasons. One, there is a specific jump that we need to do to get up to the supercharge ramp that is very hard and very precise. And second, while supercharging, there is another really precise jump that we have to hit, or else we die and have to start the level over again. But then we can just kind of do the other half of the supercharge after that. But yes, it's a very scary level. The supercharge itself is super easy. It's what makes this level hard is simply just 2 jumps, one of them while you're supercharging. And that's kind of why this level is ridiculously hard. We're probably going to have to lower FPS for a few seconds just so I can hit the jump. Because at 50 FPS, it is very hard to hit the jump. But we will try and hit it. Yeah, okay. It's about what I thought. It's very, very precise. At 50 FPS, you need to like wall glide, which is a mechanic that we also just did there, where you can just kind of glide at certain angles on certain walls and gain height, and we get an auto hover out of it. So now we're starting the supercharge. This is the scary. Well, that's new. I've never been hit there.
Nope,
So let's try again. Try this one more time. This time, we will do it right.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
We hit the jump.
That's awesome. Wow.
We missed the gem. We missed the 10 gem, but that's fine. And then we still have to do this last section, which can be a tiny bit tricky. Oh, no. No, my game dropped frames like a second before I turned and it stopped the turn. Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay.
They're conspiring against you.
Real. We're just gonna go the intended way. Boo, champ. Boo, I say. And yeah. That is going to be the level. To be honest, that went a lot better than it normally goes. Unless you're hitting everything first try, there's a good chance you just lose like 2 minutes on that level. Most of my runs I've had lately, I just lose 2 minutes in that level all the time because of just how stupid it can be.
I'm thankful it went well.
Thankfully. Tried to go for a fly and skip because, again, I keep forgetting them. So something tells me we're not getting RTA record. I do this every time I do a marathon run. I'm like, I'm going to try and go for it because I think it'd be really funny if I did get it. And then halfway through the run, I'm like, oh, I've been forgetting literally everything.
Well, you do have another marathon that is coming up soon. We're kind of previewing a little bit here for Fest's Fall Fest. Going to be back with this run as well. So there's more chances.
I'm super excited to do that run. I've been trying to get into that marathon for a while. I love the furry community. Super awesome.
Yeah, that is definitely a community we're looking to support and uplift here at Creature Corner. Because, you know, we love creatures. We love furry friends. It's awesome.
So we are hitting a cycle here. In this entire level, we want to have perfect movement so we can do this. If that guy's big, from that distance, he shoots like a little fireball at you. And we can use that fireball to break the big metal chest behind us because it is a chest that we can't break ourselves. We would actually, the intended way is to run through this entire level and there's a rocket on the ground that we can flame that will then fly over and break that chest open for us. But that's really slow because this level is really long.
So you just use the conveniently placed enemy that shoots fire.
Exactly.
Instead. Nice.
So looking at our gym count is extraordinarily high. I don't know what happened. This is the highest gym count I have ever seen.
Well, all right. We're rich.
We're super rich. So we're just going to go for some... we're just going to drop some gems in this last level in Jacques. Yeah. This level's nothing too tricky about it. There's just a couple jumps over gaps that will kill you if you miss. Other than that, it's a pretty simple level. We just run to the boss, flame him, he runs away, we flame him again, he runs away again, and then we flame him, and then that's it. Lights out. My gym count is so high, I don't even know what gyms to skip. We're just gonna do this.
Just figuring it out on the fly. You know, pun intended.
I'm never in the situation where I have too many gyms to where I have to like cut out so many. Sometimes I have a high enough gym count where I'm like, okay, I can skip like this gym, or this gym. Other times I have to grab extra gyms because I'm so under gyms. So yeah.
It's a very interesting thing for a speedrun to sort of have this sort of money management be the main factor.
Yeah. That's the thing I really like about the categories, because when you play the completionist category, it's always the same because you have to collect everything the exact same way. And if you miss it, you have to go back for it. Whereas in this game, if I miss a gym, I don't have to go back for it. I could choose to go back for it, or I can choose to make up that gym later down the road with another backup gym. It's like you have to adapt on the fly. So now we're going into the last homeworld, and we are about to do the major trick of the run, Coveless. Normally, what you have to do in the last homeworld is you have to go through the first level. You need to beat the level, then you have to go through the second level, beat that, then you can go into the final boss. But with this trick, we can just skip straight into the final boss. So I'm going to try and do it and then explain it because I need to focus up a tiny bit for this trick. So hopefully we hit this first try.
Hi, Spyro.
Oh, hang on. I'm just going to reset that. Did not like where Spyro was facing. There we go.
Hi, Spyro.
Okay, so what happens here is we need to Alt F4 because we just soft locked the game.
Oh no!
I haven't done that in a very long time. kind of forgot it could happen. So
Okay,
we're gonna reload the game.
Here.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I feel
It'll be back in
terrible
a
that this
second.
happened.
It's no problem. Sometimes the game just doesn't agree with you. Not a big deal.
This would happen. You know, this would happen during my run. The game just
Chad is saying it's so rare. Marathon.
the funny thing about SRT is there are quite a few ways to soft lock the game, but there are very little ways to crash the game. Crashing the game is actually really hard to do. It does not crash very often. So
that's probably a good thing for a game to have.
Yeah, it is a very good thing for the game. I appreciate that it doesn't crash very often. So when it does crash, it's very heartbreaking. All right, here we go.
Yep, looks like we're right back in. Very nice. Speed running, reopening the game.
Nice. Let's go. We did it.
Nice.
So basically, we do a trick called fairy storage. In fairy storage, what that allows us to do is the same frame we decide to replay a dragon. If we hit charge X to play the dragon and we hit triangle to get out of the talk box from Zoe the fairy, we can actually have Spyro continuously charge in one direction while the dragon is replaying. And if we line Spyro up correctly, we can have him run into the balloonist, which gives us another text box, which if we select the artisan's homeworld at the right time, so he takes us back to it, because the dragon cutscene is still playing, if we skip it, we then regain control of Spyro while in the balloon, which allows us to launch ourselves forward when we shouldn't be able to. And I still was able to load into the portal because all the portals are actually still there for a short period of time, even though everything else is deloaded. So it's a fun trick. And then we just did Nasty Wall Glide because it's slower, but it's a lot cooler. We beat Nasty at his own race, you know. The swag strat of a century.
That was really cool to see. Like, dare I say,
time's
worth
about
the
to
soft
come
lock?
Yeah. I'm so sad that it's soft locked, but it's all good. So timing's about to come up on this last hit of Nork. We just have to get through this little lava room parkour area. And time in 3, 2, 1. Bam.
Woo, GG!
That is time. Oh my god, GG!
Underestimate
Yeah,
even
rat
with the
fox
soft
use.
lock. Very nicely done.
Let's go. That's all I can ask for is being underestimate. Yeah, that's SRT, any percent NBS. I appreciate y'all letting me run this for you. A lot of fun.
Again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Yeah.
Mostly. I've still got some treasure. What will you do next?
I don't know what to say.
Well, I will say that you did a great job and that was so much fun. I can see so much enthusiasm in chat for you, so you should definitely tell everybody who's watching where they can find you for more.
Yes. So I stream over at Chamey with 4 Ys. I'm going to be doing some more SRT NBS because I actually have 2 marathon runs coming up. Next Friday, I'm going to be doing a marathon run for the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. And then the week after,
so
I'm going to be doing this for Fastest Furs. So yeah, I also do a bunch of OG Spyro stuff as well. Really fun game to play. So if y'all are ever in the mood to learn a new speed game or just want to watch a new speed game, Spyro the Dragon, either Reignited or OG. I personally prefer the Reignited version because that's where my home is. But lots of cool people in the Spyro community as a whole. A bunch of people in chat Thank you so much, everyone who shut up. I really appreciate it, champ. So, yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed, champ. Yeah. GG, champ.
I think everybody enjoyed so much, including myself. That was so much fun to watch. You did so much precise platforming and moving at the speed of light. I hope that everybody's excited for your upcoming marathon appearances, and you might want to stick around as well, because we have one more fantastic game here up on Creature Corner, and it's going to be just as intense and cool and fun as this one. That it will be Sea Frog, and if you've never seen Sea Frog, it is a frog skateboarding. So we do not stop with the skateboarding extreme action. Thank you so much for being here, Jamie. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And stick around, because we're going to take a short break and then... Hello, chat, and welcome back to Creature Corner, the GDQ Hotfix show about non-human protagonists and player characters. And we have one final run for y'all tonight, and it is an absolute treat. If you liked Skator Gator 3D before, then you're going to absolutely love Sea Frog coming up next. Sea Frog is an extreme sports frog game. I know, it's incredible. And it's also basically a Metroidvania. We've got a really cool shortened category here with y'all tonight, and with one of the runners of the SGDQ race of this game. Definitely go check that out if you have not already as well on our YouTube channel. But we've got Sea Frog Kraken Percent by iSwimFly. Go ahead and croak and slide our way into it.
Well,
my brain's broken. Let's not croak. You're so right.
Those are bad.
That's not good. That's not good. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm iSwimFly. This is Sea Frog. This is a very awesome, as Satan described it, 2D skateboard Metroidvania platformer type game. I'm joined by Jaxler, who was the other half of the Sea Frog race at SGDQ.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jaxler. You might recognize me from getting my butt handed to me during the SGDQ 2025 race of this game.
Hey, you won the incentive, though. You won the incentive.
I did win. That is true. I did win the incentive. That is true.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah, eye for an eye. Anywho, but yeah, I also run this game. This game's really cool. You should play it. And I'm going to say that multiple times over the course of the next 30 minutes. But less than that.
So really quickly, before we get into the run, as Satan mentioned, this is a shortened category. This is Kraken Percent, which we essentially are just going to go through the first ship of the game. The game involves 3 main ships outside of your own hub world. There is the Sea Dragon, the Chunky Chakin, and the Sweater Factory. We are only going to go to 2 of those ships, but we only have to play one of them to completion for this category. There are 3 bosses, one at the end of each ship. This category was just a quick little routing project between me and Jaxler, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's just a little bit of a shortened category that we like to do because any percent has just been a beast to route, and I frankly haven't had the time yet, so we thought this would be a very fun idea.
Yeah.
That being said, I think we're ready to get into the run, so Jaxler, if you want to count me down, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll start counting from 3, and we'll start the timer on go.
Works.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right,
good luck, homie.
Thank you. Really quickly, we kind of forgot to talk about it, but it's not super important. We are playing on technically a preloaded save of sorts. This game has a couple tutorial prompts that show up during the sequence that some of them are optional, or some of them are skippable by playing through the tutorial once and then closing out before leaving the tutorial. Some of them you are forced to see on screen. I actually just skipped one by entering that door at the correct time. But there is one more tutorial prompt we're going to see in this section that is just unavoidable. But by playing on a save that has completed the tutorial, you essentially get to skip the other tutorial prompts that would normally start out every single room that you play in the tutorial.
Yeah, so to give you kind of a brief intro on how the game works, there are going to be a lot of rooms with these little cogs that you have to spin up by latching onto them. And that once you get all of them within a specific floor of a given ship, it will let you progress to the next area. And so we're getting kind of introduced to that in what is actually the hub ship, if you will. But this area is kind of meant to just be a tutorial, and you can't really come back here later. There's not really much for you to do here later. Swimfly, random question, because this is not something that I think either of us did in the GDQ race. You're kind of spamming the get on your wrench/skateboard, but is that actually giving you more speed? Is that a thing?
It is. So I found that tapping at the right time, kind of at the right rhythm, I've been calling it frog hopping affectionately. Essentially just kind of like lets you build a little more speed and just kind of like get a little bit of like a starting bonus of speed, if you will.
Interesting.
I don't exactly have any science that proves that it works, but it feels good and I like doing it and it's not slower, so I'm going to keep doing it.
That's totally valid. It's going to be a little...
Okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
A couple of quick movement things while we're in here. This game essentially controls with like 3 or 4 buttons. There is right trigger, which gets you on the board. Releasing left trigger gets you off the board. Pressing left trigger gives you a boost while you're on the board. And then there's one more button that influences your movement, which we'll get into later when we actually unlock that ability. As we mentioned, this is a Metroidvania, so we'll get a power up there. Right now, what I'm doing is collecting golden barnacles. My total is in the top right. It's about a jump from 133 to 183. That is the main source of progression between the main ships. Aside from that source of progression, you need 3 master gears to complete the game. As I mentioned before, we're only playing the first ship, so we're only going to get 1.
The first one, essentially. Yeah.
Yep. Technically, there's no order to them, but like, yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah.
It's the first ship that we're gonna play through because it's the fastest to get to and the first boss you can really beat.
Yeah, so one of the big things me and Swimfly worked on with this category specifically was routing the golden barnacles out. As you've noticed, we need 665 for that next to unlock the Chunky Chakin, which we do need to visit at some point for some Metroidvania progression. But a lot of this route is going to be... this is a relatively new trick as well. So normally the way you're intended to get to this ambergris stone is by going up and over, but Swimfly found a way to clip past the tentacle, and it's upsetting to me. I was mad when they found it. I'm still mad now.
It's awesome, though. It's fairly consistent. I kind of messed it up a little bit there, but I really haven't had much trouble with that when I've gone for it in runs. Essentially, you just kind of like get on your board at the base of that Kraken tentacle, and you can just kind of clip through. It's awesome.
Yeah. So this kind of introduces us to the major like gameplay flow of each ship. We're gonna have like these different like ship levels. So we're on level A right now, or hull A rather, and each one is gonna have these different cogs that we need to get. And once we light up all the cogs, we can make our way out of there. We did a really cool strat there. It's an intended mechanic with a lot of the grapple points in this game, where if you grapple at a like good enough distance, if you immediately let go of the grapple point, you'll kind of immediately go into a specific type of trick that gives you more speed in the direction that you leave at. So Swimfly did that on purpose to actually get up to a hidden snake stone, which just gets you a little bit of extra golden barnacles. And that's something we'll see in a couple of spots throughout the run as well. But that first hole, other than that, like clip through the tentacle, pretty straightforward stuff. And we're gonna see some of the boost stuff mixed in as well. Basically, anytime we're not doing that like hopping stuff, especially if we're on a rail, we're gonna want to be boosting. And the way that you build up boost is by doing tricks. And so you can do tricks by essentially like jumping and then like letting go of the button that lets you ride your skateboard, and you'll do a trick midair. You can also do a trick by doing what's called a perfect jump. So if you jump just at the moment you're about to go off a ramp, you'll get extra points. And then right here, we're going to do a bit of a, I would say, unintended strat for the gear we have right now, which is going up that ceiling right there to grab that snake stone a bit earlier. And that requires some pretty careful boost management. But you can see that we can build up combo pretty easily by doing tricks without accidentally like just rolling on the ground normally. You can, grind off of rails. You can, eventually we'll get other tools to carry combo. But not only do we need to do part of that score attack challenge to get a golden key to progress, but by getting a high enough score during the challenge, we also get another 50 golden barnacles via the ambergris deposit. So it's really, really convenient.
And we're stuck in that room anyway, so like you might as well,
Exactly. And so Swimfly is actually going through this hole in a specific route. You kind of have some freedom as to how you choose to do this, but the way Swimfly chooses to do it will basically have us throw the key at the lock gate while we're kind of waiting to go. What this is going to do is set up these cogs in a very specific way so we can get a quick cycle and also skip grabbing an ambergris stone in this room so that we can just kind of immediately leave on a better cycle. So that's one of the routing improvements that Swimfly found. Partially because I haven't run the game in forever, I refuse to do that route because I think it's evil and bad. But I'm a hater, so.
It's new and scary. It's definitely new and scary.
It is new and scary.
Yeah, I mean, this game is a tough speed game, but like in a really cool way. When I first saw this game, it was like everything in this game looks so impressive, even if you're not hitting every trick first time. It's just rad.
It's really tricky because it's a momentum-based platformer. So if you mess something up, it's very tough to just kind of be able to go back and grab it, like whatever you missed, which makes things really difficult in a couple of rooms. Rats in the wall.
Oh, we got wall rat. Yeah, we got wall rat. Let's go.
Some of the time when you leave that room, the NPC that you're supposed to talk to just spawns in the wall. That is the ratty godmother. She can spawn in the normal spot, but just depending on how you leave that room, some of the time she'll just spawn in the wall. Sometimes she will spawn like in the black void beyond the walls that you can sometimes see. Ooh, sometimes she'll spawn right next to you. Sometimes she'll spawn in the normal spot. It's awesome.
I love that it's just a gamble.
Yep, exactly. Jackson and I just pop off every single time it happens.
It's a blessing. The run is blessed when that happens.
Exactly.
So we routed this room in a very specific way. I didn't realize that this was optimal, but now that Swimfly is doing it in real time, I understand what we're going for here. So we left some of the cogs open in advance and didn't bother with them because of the Ratty Godmother challenge. We knew we were going to go through here anyway. And so by doing the Ratty Godmother challenge that we're kind of just forced into anyway, after going through a certain amount of sub-rooms, it'll give us this chip. That was really evil of the game.
That was me.
Which will give us increased boost speed, and that's going to allow us to do a skip here, which normally we can summon a grind rail by finding 3 normal gray cogs within an area.
That one's only one.
That one's blue. I forgot.
That one's blue. It's just that there's also tutorial prompts that like tell you, hey, you have a map, and we're never going to use that, and it's also really slow and boring, so we're not going to like acknowledge it at all. We're just going to skip past it because we're speedrunners.
Yeah. So that's one gray rail that we're going to skip, and we're going to attempt to skip another in full D that normally requires 3 gray gears, which I was alluding to, and this one is much more difficult, requiring the use of a trick called rat skip. This was actually made easier in current patch. Yeah, that way looks way faster, actually.
Right?
Yeah. So rat skip, right? This is actually something that was made easier in a recent patch because the dev, shoutouts to the devs of this game, actually made an adjustment to the way iframes work, where after a set amount of time, you're given movement control back, as opposed to the initial release of the game where you had to wait to land back on the ground before you could move again. And so we're going to make use of the iframes that we get from damage boosting off of a rat, and this will hopefully let us like essentially wall run off some spikes. And before we can even attempt that, we actually have to get another chip here. This will give us even more boost speed, which when combined with the Daredevil chip that we got from the Ratty Godmother should hopefully get us there.
So this is going to be
for the risky version without taking the heal in advance.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if
we'll
I
see how
need
this
to, I can go
goes.
back for it, but might as well try and go for the fast way. So I'm going to get hit by this rat here, go to the side. I'm not going to get it.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to
So
go
we're gonna
grab a heart. Might as well grab the tutorial prompt while we're here.
Yep. And that is what happened to me during the GDQ run. So it's probably the most difficult trick in the run at the moment. Oh, my phone's telling me I'm dying. That's cool. But don't worry about that. We're going to give this trick another try here. You got this.
All right. Well, there's one more heart spot. In worst case scenario, I can reload the hole, which will re-enable every single heart spawn. So if I really get stuck, I can just go back to hull C and then re-enter hull D and try again. But this is, like Jackson said, this is easily the hardest skip in the entire run. Thankfully, we only have to do it once. We're going to get an item or an ability later on that just kind of lets us skip it. But let's see if I can get through it this time. Actually, I want to build a little bit of boost. I'm playing this safe. There we go.
That should work. There you go. Nice. Good save.
So that's really tricky to pull off. I mean, you can see just how much of the space I had to grab there. there really isn't much wall for you there. It is very, very tricky.
Yeah, that is a hard skip. I remember seeing that on the GDQ run as well, and it is just, it's really cool conceptually, but so difficult to pull off in real time. So glad we did get to see it.
Heck yeah. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup in this room because unfortunately I didn't have all the
I think you're
boost.
set on I almost called it money. I think you're set on golden marticles a decent bit. Something cool that you saw there that we kind of glossed over is that while we were cranking up that cog right there, we went ahead and threw the purple fuse at the generator. We do need to make use of that, both that fuse box in order to progress further. And so something you'll notice as well is that the speed at which we sort of crank up a cog is dependent on our speed going into it. So by boosting in specific ways, we can actually manipulate our speed in order to get the fastest possible wind up on these cogs here. And then right here, there's going to be, we're going to try to grab, yeah, there we go. Grab that purple fuse midair right there. And then you're going to notice a couple of cogs that are like kind of phased out that we can't really grab quite yet. We're going to have to come back here a bit later to progress, but there's some things we're going to be able to do here right away. So one of the other things that got added in the new update was the ability to hold more than one like important pickup at a time. So what we used to have to do is get each of these kind of like green runes individually. But now we can hold on to a couple of them. And so after we destroy that rat epically, we're going to go ahead and cancel that into looking into that secret compartment for an ambergris stone. This is going to get us another 50. And then hopefully by the time we grab one more here, this should put us at almost 665. Something to note as well that I didn't bring up is in addition to some of these like wall-mounted golden barnacle spots, every time you crank up one of these cogs, it will give you some golden barnacles as well here.
Gives you 6. Why did I go backwards? Why am I not up there?
There you go.
That's one of those examples though of like the momentum-based platforming being really tricky. Like it's, if you just like mess up on a single jump, it really punishes you, making for a very intricate speedrun. And it really like, it's very fun. I'm looking forward to any percent. I just haven't had the time to like dedicate to routing that entire thing. So that is 3 whole ships that we really have to like iron out and figure out what we're doing.
And so we did another setup where we got onto that crank right there and then threw the purple fuse so that as the cutscene triggered, it actually flung us off of that launch point so that we could fall down and grab this ambergris bit as quickly as possible. And so we have a little bit, a good little bit extra, but that's kind of something you want to, especially in a live setting like this, you want to make sure you have a little bit of extra just to be safe here.
Admittedly, with that new clip through the tentacle, I haven't had a full amount of time to kind of reroute everything surrounding the golden barnacles, so I do have a little bit of wiggle room in my current route. I'm working on trying to narrow it down and get that as precise as possible because my current personal best is a 23-minute and 2-second time, which I don't think we're going to approach with this considering how Hull D kind of treated me.
Yeah.
But if I'm 2 seconds off of 23 minutes, I think with just a little more optimal routing, we can definitely see that.
Yeah, you're getting kind of owned by the movement. So what we're going to attempt to do here is another one of those spacing launches off of a cog right there in order to essentially skip having to go around a little bit there. And then all we're going to do is grab the golden key and leave. We don't need any more ambergris. Phone is being moved. Don't worry about it, chat. We're fine. And so as we, one of the gimmicks with the cogs in this ship is that they have numbers on them. So you have to actually go and do them in order. And then right here, nice, nailed the skip.
There we go.
That was something that I think I found that sequence. Very rare that I find things in speed games. I tend to just kind of make better what's already there, but I will take credit for that one. And so right here, we're going to get a manual, which is going to grant us the rocket wrench. This lets us air dash. And air dashing is, you can probably do this category without it, in theory, but it just makes things so much better. It just makes everything so much better.
The nice thing about the rocket or the air dash is that it always gives a very consistent amount of speed in the air at the end. So you pretty much always want to, if you're in the air for a while, figure out how you can time a dash into one of the cogs, into one of the gears, because it's very, very fast. Even if you like bump into a wall, because if you bump into a wall in an air dash, it kind of like recoils you back. But even if you do that, it's still so fast to just get on a gear after that.
Yeah, so there's only one more thing that we need in this ship before we leave. Swimfly doing a very specific strat to ride the ceiling there. Actually, two things. We need a ship that's going to allow us to basically like wall surf off of these mag walls, and then we're also going to need to equip it. And then right here, we gotta just grab one more Viking rune, and then we can quit and reload. If we quit and reload, it'll remember the fact that we were holding that object. And so we can essentially smuggle that out of the chunky chakin, and then off of the fast travel point that we got before the Ratty Godmother encounter, we can use that to get back deeper into the Sea Dragon and make our way back to where we need to turn in all these green Viking runes. So there's 3 Viking runes that we need to progress the rest of the ship's story, for lack of a better term. We do have to go around here because, like Swimfly said earlier, we did skip a cutscene, so we don't want to accidentally trigger it. And then there's the 3rd one that we need right there. And again,
this room is hidden and secretly evil.
Exactly. What we're gonna do here is, do we need the golden key from here? I like
to grab it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you grab this golden key, you can skip one that you're supposed to grab later. You're going to need one more for the rest of technically 2 more for the rest of the run, but you can grab this one here, and it skips having to do like 3 rooms later on.
And with the air dash as well, we can skip having to do the rat damage boost again, which is so nice.
Yeah, it's so nice only having to do that once. One thing you saw me do there was I dropped the Viking rune that I had from the Chunky Chakin when I first entered the room in Hull D. Yeah, because that's where we got the other rune. The reason I dropped it is because your item pickup order is stored. So I knew that I was going to have to get rid of the Viking runes first. So since I knew that I was going to have to get rid of them first, I dropped it, grabbed the key, which put it in the first spot. Then I picked up the other 2 runes, which put them in front of it. So now you can see him holding the key without having to throw the key at all.
Yeah, the way you can think about the inventory order is it's first in, last out. So the first thing that you grab is the last thing in the priority list to get thrown.
That's a better way of putting it. Thank you.
Not a problem. So we actually have to go ahead and...
That's new. I'm going to say the thing. That's never happened before. Okay.
So normally
when you pick up the dragon horn, the Viking that is currently chasing me and trying to kill me normally just spawns on your left, and you can use invincibility to just kind of get through without any problems. However, as you're kind of seeing with the chase... There we go. Okay.
Things are
a little farther in. She didn't immediately spawn, and I'm not quite sure why. Like I said, that's never happened before. Normally, the Viking is very consistent with the spawns. You're actually going to see me do something here to manipulate where the Viking spawns, so I can just kind of avoid a specific spawn that would normally kind of screw up my movement for the rest of this room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw away the horn, because as long as you're not holding the horn, the Viking will not spawn. So what I'm going to do is just kind of throw the horn here, grab this. Normally she would spawn up by that bolt, that gear, and cause me problems, but now I can force the spawn here, squeak in above her, and get these 2, and now we're done with the horn. That's all we needed it for.
Yeah.
That whole side quest of getting all 3 runes and like the main thing we need to do, that's it. That's all we needed it for.
Yeah. When we eventually get around, why am I saying we? Because Swimfly is going to be probably the one who does most of the work on that. But in any percent, you would probably need that for a lot more, so you can get some more ambergris stones, because you do need to unlock the 3rd ship in that category. But so the way that the horn works, just because I don't think we actually explicitly described it, when you're holding the horn, that Viking Valhalla lady chases after you, but it causes essentially certain objects in the environment to appear and disappear. So if you're holding it, it will cause certain grind rails to appear, it'll cause certain cogs to appear. And we don't have any ways of like skipping cogs in order to get to the bottom of the Sea Dragon. So because of that, we need that horn in order to make those appear. So we did a really cool strat, like right there where we actually wall bounced off of the wall in order to guarantee a high speed collision, which gets us a high crank speed on that cog right there. And again, another instance of we throw the golden key as we're spinning up another cog. And then this right here, low-key, is one of the hardest rooms to do fast in the run, just because there's a lot of messed up and evil enemies here. This is you're doing a really I've not seen that strat. That must be new.
Oh really? No, I did that during the GDQ race.
Oh, you did? Oh well, I just suck then. Okay, never mind. But that's an alternate. Swimfly, I guess, have two different ways of doing that room. I have a specific setup I do to kind of go up, I guess, the casually intended route for that room. And again, you saw Swimfly intentionally wall bounce with the rocket dash that we got in order to intentionally speed up the animation.
Please don't hit
me. No, you should
be
good. Yeah, there you go.
That little guy.
I'm just imagining like the start of the music video for Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai, where he just kind of like approaches the camera.
All right, I'm gonna go this thing. Oh, all right.
You almost had it too. I am appreciative of you for thinking of me and going for it. The strat's really hard, and I kind of like found it in the GDQ practice room while we were warming up.
Essentially, if you hit it right, you can skip that entire like curve on the left. Come on, I want.
And then this sequence here, this golden cog that we need to open the boss door, the boss key for lack of a better term, also has the same properties as the other cogs. We need to rocket dash into it. And now we're going into the Kraken fight, which is the namesake of this category. We need to defeat the Kraken. Yeah, we're gonna beat up a Kraken.
This is my favorite part of the run because it is just so cool when it's done right. And I really hope that I do it justice. The thing about this fight is that it is always going to be the same set pattern. Essentially, the way you attack bosses in this game is you grab onto where that master gear, that golden rotating cog is. You essentially grab onto that part of their body and attack them. The nice thing is for this boss fight, it is always in the same pattern. So you're going to see some very precise movement from me for the majority of this because I know the pattern, so I just know where I need to go, I know where I need to be. And I've just tried to design the best route to get there as fast as possible. So this is kind of like the end of the run, and it's such a cool way to end the run. It's just like the coolest section of movement in this game.
Yeah. So we're going to see a lot of good uses of the rocket jump. We're going to have to tank a hit there because, again, the movement can be tricky to line up properly. But a property of the game that we'll be seeing a good bit is not only making use of the rocket dash in order to redirect in the opposite direction, but also you can't, if you, basically you have one wall glide on a wall surface per airtime. But if you use the rocket wrench, you can kind of like wall glide off of something, reset it, and then kind of like get back moving again. So that's something we'll see a decent bit of as well.
It's very nice. And now this final climb here, I'm gonna go to the left here because if I'm not mistaken, I can manipulate where the Viking is going to spawn and avoid a lot of grievances. There we go.
Yeah, this last hit in particular is probably the most annoying to deal with.
Yeah, because you essentially have to go from the bottom of the room to the top. Time is going to be coming up, by the way, when I touch that master gear. We can try and call it out. But overall, that fight is so much fun. It's so cool. And time will be in 3, 2, 1, time.
GG's, great run.
Thank you. This game is just so cool. The momentum feels so good. They really nailed like an arcadey style while still making it feel really like in-depth and just rewarding for understanding how it works. Shout out again to the devs. We had one of the developers, Mario, on for developer commentary for SGDQ, so feel free to check that out after this. It was such a privilege to have him on. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Please check this game out. It's on Steam. It is indie title, I believe the first title for the studio. It's so much fun. It's really fun casually. There's so much more to the game than we're getting to show off here. And I'm really hoping to route any percent soon when I have some more free time.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game is literally if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was a 2D Metroidvania. And that's just, if that doesn't sell you on it, I don't know what will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Great job on the run.
Thanks
for having me on comms.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
That was absolutely excellent, and I'm sure chat thinks so too. So where can they find you if you want to see more, Swimpai?
You can find me at twitch.tv/awesomefly556. That's really the only place where I'd say I'm active on social media right now. And even still, that's kind of a stretch. Again, life's been busy. I haven't had as much time to stream as I would like, but I'm hoping to change that soon. I've got a couple of the games in the pipeline that I do want to start speedrunning, start routing. In addition to this, like there's just this, I don't know. This game is so cool. I want to do more with it. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, that's where the people can find me. Jaxler, where can they find you?
Yeah, I burned out of this game heavy after SGDQ.
Fair.
But I also speedrun a bunch of other stuff, so if you're interested in that, you can find me at twitch.tv/Jaxler1. And thanks for having Seafrog on GDQ Hotfix. This game is really cool, and I'm glad more people are getting to see it. So
thank you so much, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, this game is so cool. From day one when it came out, I was like, I want to have this on Creature Corner, and I was just waiting for the right time. And of course, any percent is still being routed. Can't wait to see that. But I'm very glad we got to show up Kraken percent because it is just the best. What a cool game. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for being here on the show. But that's going to do it for us here at Creature Corner tonight. I know that was a really fun show full of scales, slime, and the like. But you know what? If you missed out on of the Box or Creature Corner, you're in luck. You can stay tuned as we replay both shows right after this. And remember to tune in Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Do All the Things and Peril Universe. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and thank you for hanging out on Creature Corner. Bye-bye.